Oh, hello, and welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. Tonight we're playing some worldwide wrestling, and it is the finale of this series that we've been doing, playing worldwide wrestling, which is a powered by the Apocalypse system, something a little different on the channel. If you've been watching along here since the beginning, cool. Thanks, thanks for being with us since the beginning. If not, and you really want to see how we got here, why this is happening, all this that you're seeing on the stream, I guess you go check out the YouTube channel. There's a playlist there of all the story, I guess, that we put together to get to this point, and also just a little bit of us kind of trying to stumble through the rules and understand the system. So I don't know, like, really enjoy like watching people learn a board game. It probably looks kind of like that as we're flipping through the rule book and stuff, but we've been having fun with it, and I guess that's what is important. So
If you're some
um
sort of sicko, maybe you'll like it.
sometimes, once in a while, I'll see like a comment about, someone's like, it's really interesting to see people learn this game system, and I'm always like wondering what is the unspoken thing about that comment. It's really interesting. So we don't just dress up in goofy costumes and play pretend wrestling games. We do play a lot of like D&D and things like that on the channel. And if you want to come and talk to us about this game or D&D or whatever tabletop game that you're super into, you can just join us in our Discord server. The link to that is in the chat. I'm assuming I can't really read at the moment because of the sunglasses.
It's there.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm sure
You're
it's
good.
there.
Mm.
I'm just relying on muscle memory to be like this. I think that this feels right. Discord, yes. Yeah. So, I don't think I really have too many things for announcements as we get started. So we're just gonna like kind of pick up. I don't know. We should probably do a recap of what happened last time, right? That's sort of one of the things you're supposed to do with this worldwide wrestling game system, is have someone kind of try to give the recap of what did we see last week. And I'm more than happy to do it, but do one of you want to jump in and give us the recap of what happened last week?
Perhaps it should be like a taking turns thing, and I can start us off. Well, it was all going great. We find ourselves on the road, no longer stuck at the Alliant Energy Center in the shithole that is Madison, Wisconsin. We're going out to Pennsylvania to do a nice, excellent show. But then we had some talks, made a few pit stops, but then we eventually got to where we needed to go. And I'll hand it off.
Well, for sure. Obviously, we maybe have found ourselves at a con. We enjoyed it. And not just that, but I feel as wrestlers, we bonded in the car. We planned out what was going to be happening for our character, and there was a level of trust that was established. Yes. We went to the main event of the evening, and Grimes.
I mean, before the main event of the evening, or that evening, the con evening had a surprise from the soul beater, the soul.
His name is
Cleaver.
Soul Cleaver.
Soul Cleaver, thank you. Soul Cleaver, came after the pikeman there, and started turning the pikeman against him and all that fun stuff. And then it was it was a match. It was a big explosive match that saw the pikeman go over and essentially put the Soul Cleaver to bed, as it were. Um,
Yes, that's all
Yep.
fine and good.
uh-huh.
I do not want the spotlight of the night.
Oh,
I believe that is reserved for you.
well,
If I remember
Um,
correctly, I think there was a championship bout between I don't know, myself, the current WTF champion, against the challenger that is, well, that'd be you, Grimes.
the real current WTF champion.
You're
Who-
goddamn right.
there was some discussion, and ultimately, what's best for business is Grimes going out on top in our first pay-per-view, big ol' premium live event, in which I won. I put my body on the line. I got thrown over the cage and landed on the floor to secure the title in glorious, bloody, painful fashion. Much to the surprise of my long-standing coworker, Mr. Ranger.
I think it was more than just a surprise for just me, but more or less everyone else in the arena, I'd say.
No. It was.
I talked to Jim Laybourne, and he seemed a little suspicious about the whole turnabout events.
Jimmy doesn't matter, Jimmy's beneath me. He's beneath you. Let's be honest. All that matters is what Nikki feels is the way for the company to go, and Nikki believes that everybody's got to get behind me.
But
Is
Nikki's
that so?
plans have gone off the rail a little bit because as the cameras went off air, there was a very public, very kayfabe breaking fight that spilled out into the arena between Frugal Dougal and Zach Grimes. And
That's right.
people have been capturing this on their smartphones and uploading it to YouTube and TikTok, and it's starting to go viral. And that is where we are immediately picking up. This is not a part of the broadcast. This is like not being, filmed in any like real way, but backstage in the locker room, Nikki kind of security pulls the two of you apart and separates you. I think Tom Kendall, you're in the backstage area as well as this is happening, and Nikki, once you guys have kind of calmed down and you're breathing and you're able to like be separate but without going at each other's throats, she just comes in and she goes, can somebody care to explain what the hell just happened out there? I didn't put this in the script. What script are you working off of, Frugal?
What the hell was that? I think it was Tommy's. That was the shortest reign I've ever seen. They discussed when we were driving here what was going to happen. That's not right. That doesn't even make any sense.
Plans
What
are
the hell?
subject to change.
But
Yeah.
but look at Tommy. Bullshit.
What
Tommy.
about him? He looks amazing.
He's a big boy. He looks strong. I made him look strong.
You ruined my spot.
Don't ruin any spot.
What is the point of this mouse traps? Like, why?
I've
That
seen this
wasn't a
before.
part of the plan.
I've seen
Yeah.
this before in promotions. This is not.
Every bit of theater needs some element of realism. You know that.
That's what the
That's
glass.
what I bring to the
that's what
table.
That's what the tacks
Look,
and glass were for. You
hey,
cut up my back.
Oh, you-
I'm gonna have
Time out,
stalkers
idiots,
because of this.
idiots. Hold on. You're missing
you're
the
not
bigger
talking to
picture
me.
here. He was just put through a table. I was planning on writing him out injured,
Wait, what?
and we were going to have a tournament for the title. But now you hauled him out there and you had a big fist fight with him.
You're gonna write me out?
Yeah. You weren't going to.
What?
You think I was gonna let you have a title reign?
I went over. I went.
Yeah, you went over the top and through a table, and it was Tom Kendall here is the guy that looked like the badass.
What?
Yeah. What did you think was happening?
I
thought
was
you were
winning.
You're not the top guy. I'm sorry. You're a B+ player.
These get degrees.
Didn't Al Snow? Hasn't he taught you anything?
Where is Al?
Probably in catering. Look, we gotta figure this out. This changes everything. I mean, I think we could still write you out. You know, you went through the table and there was a fist fight. Maybe the fist fight is why you're being hospitalized.
What makes you think that I'm not going to show up?
I mean,
what makes you think that I'm
'Cause
just
you
going to
wanna
like
get
lay down
paid.
and let this happen?
we could make this happen. I mean, if you want it to be real, we could figure that out. We'll go back around back. and
Well,
I'll make sure that you won't be able to make it to the next show.
It's getting a lot of clicks.
You're still
I'm not-
holding that
I'm not
pipe.
mad about that. Not mad about that. That's pretty great. Here's the thing, though. Frugal
So you're going to
Dougal.
reward this guy for messing up your plans? That's what's gonna
I'm not
happen?
I'm not telling any of you a damn thing about what my plans are going forward. You'll know exactly when you need to know.
Like getting into the ring.
Yes. All right. So here's the deal. Zach Grimes, you're going to be written off of TV for the next few weeks. I have to figure out new plans for you. The story
Few
is
weeks?
few weeks. You're in a coma now. You can't be seen
What?
anywhere. Yeah. That's right.
How? In what? All right.
I mean, if you want to argue it, I'll have Frugal Dougal take you back out there. We'll sell it like he says. All right.
Proceed.
All right. Frugal Dougal. I don't know how else to put it to you. I mean, you're super over with the fans, but I'm pretty sure that this whole thing is going to paint you in a pretty bad light. You're going to have to work heel from now on.
Oh, again?
You got to work. You got to figure that out. I don't know how.
It was nice. It was nice. Okay, sure.
I know
Whatever.
it's going to
I
hurt
can
your
be heel.
merchandise sales. It's going to suck, but you know, this is your punishment. And Tom, you didn't do anything wrong. You actually, that's why you're the top guy. But you're going to have to work face.
All right, I'll change a few things, but I guess I'll try. Yep.
All right. Well,
Thought
we
I
got
was
a
going
week.
face.
Well, you're going coma is what you're going.
I don't like this. I don't like it.
The mousetrap thing was pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, it was.
We'll have to find some merchandise. Hey, can we get some merchandise, guys, on the mousetrap thing? Yeah.
It worked for Sami Zayn.
Oh, it was done already?
No, Sammy did the big one. I did the cool little ones that actually hurt.
Yeah. Oh, there's a DM reroll. I'm gonna refund you your points because I don't actually roll any dice in this.
I think
appreciate it.
what
Thank you.
I think what they're asking is for you to stand up and show your costume for everyone. That's what Rimlock was asking.
I'm wearing. There's nothing to stand up and show you because you're gonna see just like my normal clothes if I stand up. I'm wearing plaid PJs.
Ruining the illusion.
Eddie breaking kayfabe.
I know I can't break kayfabe, so here's your spin.
Ooh.
Wow.
So, yeah, so she basically lays it out like all the whole plan has to change a bit going forward. Zach Grimes is being written off TV for the next few weeks. Her challenge to Frugal Dougal is he's going to have to play heel, and she's going to give basically the two of you like TV time to switch your roles. The same thing with Tom Kendall's going to have to figure out a way to make his character face. And so you're going to get TV time next week basically to try to make that happen through interviews. And she's going to basically have like an interview segment set up for Tom Kendall. And there's going to be like a big sit down. It's going to be kind of like the closeout segment next week for Frugal Dougal, where they're going to do like a sit down interview and ask you all sorts of questions about why did you do it? What led you to this sequence of events, and give you a chance to like explain in character why you did this. And she kind of like ends the meeting with, is there any questions, further complaints that you would like me to hear?
Will you actually hear them?
I will hear the sounds and syllables that come out of your mouth. And then we will stick to the creative plan and vision that I lay forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Zach, we got to get you out of the stadium with a... Do we have like a stretcher or something we can carry him out on? Call an ambulance. Just call the regular 911. That's fine. I'll pay for it. It's fine.
Probably need stitches anyway.
Yeah. So they take you to the Very Real Hospital, and or what do they call it in WWE? It's the local medical facility or whatever, that weird term Vince McMahon uses.
Yeah. It's something. You're right. It's not hospital.
Yeah. So that basically plays out kind of what happens here. Nikki like puts out a memo in like the coming days to all the WTF talent saying, kind of encouraging them to go on podcasts, go on, their V-blogs, to start talking about what happened between Frugal Dougal and Zach Grimes from their perspective. Like, she kind of wants there to be a little bit of a... She's okay with like that kayfabe breaking aspect of it. She wants people to be talking about this for the next week or two or longer if possible. So there's a lot of that goes on. Some of them in character, some of them from people that are just like going on like, like the Jim Cornette show and like just talking as themselves about, they get a bunch of like the old timers like talking about like, oh, I remember this happened back in 2005 between whoever, some old, people that are long since retired. Is there anything that any of you guys want to do before we fast forward to the following week's televised program? And if not, the formal show next week is in Graceland, the Graceland Soundstage in Memphis, Tennessee. And there's a crowd of maybe about like, what did we say that like your crowds were like about 1,000 people before?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Something like that. We'll say like now you're starting to have like venues that are like 3,000-4,000 people. So like definitely more live attendance, and definitely the audience numbers online are like much higher and growing. But the next show opens much differently than many WTF promotions events do. It's like a sit down interview, or it's like they're replaying like clips of some of these podcasts and things that are playing. And there's like one particular, is like a video interview with referee Jim Laybourne, this big man who we have often talked about. Jim Laybourne has competed in the ring. He was a former wrestling coach. He's just a large man. He's usually like a lumbering figure who vastly outranks and outsizes the wrestlers and performers in the ring. So he's sitting in this like this chair. There's a little coffee table in between him and some YouTube personality that's interviewing him, and they're asking him questions about the situation. The interview asks, Jim, You've been in the business for many, many years, and you were there last week when everything went down between Frugal Dougal and Zach Grimes. What are your thoughts? What's your interpretation? What happened there? And Jim just says, well, I'll tell you. I've been in this business a long time, and I've seen my fair share of these types of things. You know, pro wrestlers have big personalities. But what happened last week, that was something else. It was raw. It was real. It was ugly. When you're in that ring, sometimes emotions get the better of you. But at the end of the day, this is a business. This is a profession. And what happened between Frugal Dougal and Zach, they let emotions spill out in a way that shouldn't happen in our business at all. You know, we've been on the road. These guys are new. You know, they're used to being in one arena. And they go home at the end of the night. And these guys have been traveling together. 3 of them. Stuck in a little tiny car. Going cross country. Taking nutrition tips from Al Snow. That'll get to you. These guys, there's a bond that forms. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's competition. And you know, it's sad to see. I honestly thought these guys, based on what I saw, I thought they were friends. Sometimes, you know, a little extra drama doesn't hurt. You know, it doesn't hurt to sell tickets. But at the end of the day, it's also about respect and trust. And that broke down last week. I always thought the Pikeman was a man of honor. But what happened last week, I just don't know anymore. I don't know what kind of man he is. And that's like kind of like the little clip of the interview that they show. They kind of splice. That's all different little bits and pieces from the interview cut together. And then big pyrotechnics. The show is off to a start, and you know, Danny's back at his newly constructed announcing table, and he's feeling like a big boy announcer now that he doesn't have to do 3 jobs at the same time, and he's welcoming everyone. Hey, everyone, it's Monday night. Welcome to WTF Promotions. We are excited to be here in Memphis, Tennessee, and tonight we have an explosive night of wrestling for you, and we might just get a few answers to some unresolved questions from last week's event in Pennsylvania. And they do a few, there's like a highlight reel of some of the big moments, you know, moments from Frugal Dougal's match with Sir Arthur, and of course a lot of the moments from that cage match, the mousetrap spot, just the general brawling happening in the middle of the ring, and then of course the moment where Tom Kendall threw Zach Grimes over the top of the cage and onto the table. And the first match gets announced for the night, and it is a tag team match between the Hall Directors, who are the current WTF Tag Team Champions, and they face off against the Luchador team, Los Muertes Vivientes, and it's a big, exciting match. We're not going to get into like what happens necessarily. I had a bunch of tag teams set up just in case you guys had done like a tag team thing at some point, but the winners are actually, they crown some new tag team champions, and we see Nosferatu and El Cazador Osquero win that bout and become the new tag champs. But then, as that match wraps up, they go to a commercial break, and then we hear Nikki Notion's music starts playing. The camera fades in, revealing Nikki Notion standing in the middle of the ring, all sorts of dazzling colors kind of spotlighting her as she makes her way down to the ring. But usually she's pretty bubbly and happy and excited to, you know, she's whooping it up a bit. She's very serious tonight as she makes her way down. Somebody hands her a microphone as she starts walking down to the ring, and she just has a sense of urgency and business behind her. The crowd is hushed. They sense the importance of her announcement as she rolls into the ring. And it seems like we've got a follow. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. And thanks for the sub right away. Love it. If you're just joining us for the first time, we're playing Worldwide Wrestling. It is a narrative TTRPG that uses the Powered by the Apocalypse game system, which is 2d6. Usually is what you roll to resolve any of your narrative moves that your characters want to make. And yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, so her music starts to wind down, and she waits for the crowd to kind of focus their attention on her, and she raises the mic to her mouth, and she starts in on her promo. And she says, "Hey guys, gals, and everyone in between, I have some seriously major news to share, and it's totally not fab. The newly crowned WTF champion, Zach Grimes, was rushed to the hospital just after our broadcast ended last week. I don't know what else to say. He's in a coma, guys, and I just can't even." And she starts to kind of tear up, and Jim Laybourne comes over and kind of gives her the pat on the back, and she's like, "It's okay. I can get through this. I gotta get through this. I gotta get through this for the promotion, for the fans." Okay, so here's the deal. Normally, I would ask Zach to vacate the title, but since he's literally unable to do that right now, we gotta figure something else out. The show must go on, and we need to crown a new WTF champion. And so I thought to myself, hey, Nikki, what better way to do that than with a Totally Red tournament? Huh? And the crowd starts to go get excited about that idea. We haven't seen a WTF tournament bracket yet. And so she says, okay, hush, hold on. That's right. Over the next few weeks, we are going to be leading up to our very first pay-per-view event, WTF Homecoming. We'll hold a tournament with our amazing roster of talent to identify our next WTF champion. It's it's totally a win-win. And guess what? I've even managed to strike a deal with the Graduates. I know, right? They're going to let us back in to our home arena for one night and one night only, if I let them have a match for the tag team titles. I know we just crowned new champions here just a little bit. Well, our new champions are going to be able to test their mettle against the former champions right in our hometown. Isn't that great? I think so. Crowd cheers for that. And then she says, okay, so let's come together. Let's make this happen. I know you've probably seen that there's been a lot of things said online, and certain people have gotten into certain fights, but let's not let that be a buzzkill, and let's just try to come together and have a good show, everyone, right? Positivity, and we're all on the same team, but we're competing for the titles, and it's all good. Let's just try to be one big happy family again. All right, thanks everybody. Peace. And the crowd's excited to hear about the prospect of this pay-per-view. There's a bit of cheering on commentary. There's a lot of speculation that is happening about what does this mean for Frugal Dougal? What does this mean for Tom Kendall, who just lost the title? Will they be in the tournament? They're asking all these kinds of questions. It's getting hyped right before we go to a commercial break. When we come back, there's a women's match that happens. And then we get to the middle segment where we see Danny goes backstage and decides to get an interview with Tom Kendall in the backstage area. And so camera pans to Tom Kendall just kind of brooding a bit in the locker room, and then he kind of gets ambushed by Donnie, who runs up to him and he just says, Ranger, Sorry to disturb you like this, but just wondering about your thoughts and feelings about your friend, Zach Grimes, being rushed to the hospital last week as the show closed out.
Well, there's a lot of things I could say about Zach Grimes in this current predicament we find ourselves in. I knew him for many years. We wrestled the indie circuit for a number of them as a tag team. And even though I may have lost my title to him just the other week, I still consider him my friend. And to find that he's unable to be here with us tonight is still a true tragedy. I'm sure all the WTF fans would want to see their champion in action, but sadly, it's not the way it's got to be. So I hope he has a speedy recovery, and hopefully, maybe, he can get back in the ring once more, where I can get that belt right back from him.
So, Tom, does that mean your prospects of the future? Will you be entering the tournament that Nikki just announced?
Still have yet to think about it. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to go back into it. I mean, I thought I was on top of the world there for a bit. I went undefeated in my reign in WTF until he had his accident. Perhaps it take some time to reflect upon what I can and cannot do. And only then, when I realize what I am ready for, you'll have my answer.
So, one thing I think we need to resolve, have we had you do your over move for being the top guy yet?
I don't think we did.
So I think this is probably a fine time to resolve that. So you're in the top spot. The episode opens with you gaining +3 momentum. Then you get to spend any of that momentum that you would like, 1-for-1, to get any match you wish as the main event. Add a stipulation to an upcoming match, call out anyone on the roster and gain +1 heat with them, and or declare a non-wrestling segment for later in the show.
I would like to declare a non-wrestling segment for the show. We need to hear from Zach Grimes' manager, Al Snow, about his current predicament with his prospect not being able to compete.
I like that. So spending 1 momentum on that. What does that bring your total momentum for the start of the show to?
It will be 3 until that segment happens.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So, as we close out that interview, next match on the card happens between the Jack of Hearts Jackie D versus Marcus Bellows, the Minotaur. Jackie D is going to win this match, and he declares immediately after he grabs a mic and declares his intentions to enter and win the Nikki Notion Thoughts and Prayers tournament. And he cuts a heel promo about how it's a disgrace that we are holding a tournament all because of some broken and talentless man who had no business being in this ring, decided to go up against any of the WTF talent, let alone Tom Kendall. And he kind of like puts Tom over a little bit. He says, I don't like Tom all that much. I think he's kind of a hack too, but he's nothing. It's nothing compared to his feelings about Zach Grimes and his backyard wrestling antics. And so tries to get the crowd to kind of boo him and get some love going for Tom. And then almost immediately after that, we've got Donnie in the back. Al Snow's filling up his plate, and we get and this is where we'll have Joe will be playing the part of Al Snow for a piece of this since Zach Grimes has been written off TV. But Danny comes over to you. He's got the mic in hand, and he says, "Hey Al, quick question, word if I can. What what do you have to say about what happened with Zach Grimes last week? Have you been to the hospital? Have you seen him?
I've been to a lot of hospitals. Let me tell you that. I've seen Zach. Yes. Zach is he's a fighter. We've seen that. We saw him come out with I think maybe his most impressive bout and most shocking battle with the Ranger. One that I think kind of put the promotion on the map. He put his body on the line in a way that no one else has. So, I think Zach is in a good spot, provided he wakes up. It's always kind of a crapshoot with these comas, from what I hear. Terry Funk said his share of comas, but he's doing fine. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. As long as Zach is continuing to get the nutrition fed through his feeding tube that I've been telling his doctors to give him. You mash up some Planters oven roasted peanuts. You get some protein from that. You mash it up with maybe a little bit of rhubarb jam. You don't think about rhubarb when you think about jam, but you put that together, the tang, the tart, that should wake him right up.
Grocery shopping aside, Al, what can you tell us
Costco.
about your intentions with this upcoming tournament? Will you enter Nikki's tournament to determine the winner of the WTF championship and honor your client in doing so?
Oh man, I mean, so we got these. You see these armbands here made up. I'm gonna write Zach on it. I haven't done it yet, but this is gonna be, the memorial wristband for Zach, and absolutely be there. Partly because I'm being paid. I mean, I'm here. I'm a worker. I'm here to do the job. But also because I don't really have anything else going on.
Al, what do you have to say to the pikeman Frugal Dougal, who we have heard took your client out into the arena last week and beat him mercilessly after his harrowing match against Tom Kendall?
Absolute disrespect for the business. Absolute disrespect for the promotion's champion. I can't believe that would happen to such a young and promising superstar, if I can use that term. I guess pretty lightly, but not really lightly, kind of just a little bit lightly. It's something that I just never saw happening. I liked old Frugal Dougal, Frugs, we call him backstage. But man, oh man, that guy showed some different colors, and I am looking forward to nothing else if not a time where our seeds match up and I can just give him a good old whooping. And maybe there'll be a little return from our old friend Head.
Well, I'm just getting reports right now, Al, that you'll have your opportunity next week, as you will be entering into the tournament, and your first opponent will be Frugal Dougal.
Book it. All right. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, the road to a championship is rarely easy, so I'm excited for this opportunity to happen, to take the easy road. This is gonna be great. Yeah.
All right. So that segment kind of ends on that note. We get a little preview of an upcoming match for next week's event, which will be taking place in Chicago, Illinois. And then and so let's see. That segment happened. So Tom Kendall, you get 1 momentum?
Yep.
Right. So up to 4 momentum. And for the purposes of your moments with as Al Snow, you'll just use your momentum that you have as Zach. What is he starting out at?
With 1.
All right. And then we hit our final segment. And so this is like a pre-recorded sit down interview with Frugal Dougal. It's like a formal like kind of seating area. There's a fern in the middle, and Donnie is just looking across from very comfortable plush seating over at Frugal Dougal. And Danny says, "Frugal, last week you shocked the wrestling world by attacking Zach Grimes. Can you explain why you did that? What drove you to such a violent reaction?"
Hmm. Well, I talk about honor. You hear me talk about it. But sometimes, well, I fear. Do you smell it? Do you smell that? That stench. My aunt, it's all around us. You, this here light, this whole place. It stinks. The people. Do you smell it on them as well? The stench. And you know who smelt the worst of it? Of this stench? Zach. Zach Grimes. I had no choice. He was not honorable. He was not worthy to wear that title. Sure, he bled. And honestly, I hope he doesn't come back. I hope he stays in that hospital, rotting for as long as he can.
This is a much
see-
darker side of you than we've ever seen, Frugal. Your recent battles with Sir Arthur Soulcleaver have been brutal, tense. Do you believe that this rivalry has influenced your actions against Zach Grimes?
Soulcleaver? No. He was the biggest of all filth. As soon as I shook his hand, I knew then and there that he had no honor. None have no honor. And now I sit here and I think of my protege. You know, at one point I mentored young Tommy Kendall. And he just took it. He lost his belt after one fight. How pathetic. This whole place is pathetic. I'm done with it. There needs to be a leader, a true champion, someone that can carry this whole place on its back. What better than me? What do you say?
Well, it seems like you've made up your mind. You've set your sights on the WTF Championship. What
And
does
I
that
don't
mean?
care who stands in my way.
Have you heard that your first opponent in the WTF Championship tournament will be Al Snow, the mentor and manager of Zach Grimes? What do you say to that?
Al Snow will be my first opponent. I hope something about Head. I hear head. So often spewed. Listen, Al. I will grab your head. I will jerk it. And I will snap it from your body. For soon.
And then the broadcast cuts. And Downey just like leans back. He's like, "Oh, nicely done."
I've done this before. It's not- I didn't want to
You
do
have
it.
a lot of time
man.
to
That was
prepare on
good.
that one. And so another week will go by. Anything that you guys want to do in terms of moves or anything that happens in between this week and then the following week?
Not on my side.
So then we open up the following week's program happens in Chicago, Illinois at Cicero Stadium. The show opens with Danny reminding the audience that tonight is a major moment in the tournament to determine who will face off against each other for the WTF Championship. Maybe we can say actually maybe a couple weeks go by. Maybe the tournament actually, if we could just hand wave that Al Snow and Frugal Dougal. No, we'll say that that's the first match. I was just trying to what makes sense, but maybe it does make sense that they would be in the first leg of the tournament against. But maybe there'll be some follow up weeks after this so that the tournament will just roll on. That's what probably makes the most sense, right? So Downey's
the tournament is over a certain number of weeks, and then there's
yeah
semis and quarters and final.
Yeah.
And,
I think that makes sense. So we'll just say, Donnie is kind of reminding the audience of okay, he's showing the graphic on the screen of the whole bracket system and who's getting a bye and all that kind of stuff. Doing a little bit of analysis maybe on the side as well, and But first, the first match up is actually also a tournament match, and it is going to be. We hear Tom Kendall's music actually start to play. Hear those spurs, and the spotlight is up on the stage, and we see the silhouette of that brimmed hat walking figure come out onto the stage. You want to give us a little bit, Dawson, what your entrance looks like as you come out?
I would say it starts very similar to what his normal intro has been. He's always been going slow, gauging the scene. But instead of just this slow walk going down to the ring, he stops just before the ramp, looks up towards the crowd. He just raises his hand up as a bunch of pyro stuff goes up, a new pyrotechnics schemes going on for his own intro. And he looks pumped and ready to go. He's going to the side, giving the people high fives, little kids, little handshakes, maybe an autograph or two. He's ready to go. He seems more energetic about his new outlook. He's maybe he's taken from what he's lost and learned to do something a little better than just being a scary old bounty hunter. And I will do that to spend one of my advancements to gain one audience.
Awesome. You got your audience up to 2. People are hoisting up kind of wanted poster signs, all things that are Tom Kendall There's a lot of signage in the crowd showing their support for the Ranger. And as you make your way into the ring and the announcer announces you and all that kind of good stuff, the music subsides, then we hear that the music the like copyright free or royalty free version of like an LMFAO song, and we hear Jackie D, the king or the Jack of Hearts. His music plays. I believe this is like a replay, a bit of a match that maybe happened a couple weeks ago when Tom Kendall initially won the championship, and then they are showing up in the ring once again against each other. And so he's coming out. He's kind of giving everybody the bird and doing some heel work as he makes his way down into the ring. And he just kind of he does some gestures towards Tom Kendall, like "You again." And he just goes and he kind of like leans himself up on the corner turnbuckle. Seems like he's trying to goad you or get under your skin a little bit by acting almost like he's not fully in this match or not taking you seriously. Jim Laybourne just goes to the middle of the ring. He makes the gesture for the ring for the match to start, and we just hear Donnie at the announce desk saying, "Well, it looks like history repeats itself even here in the WTF as we've got Tom Kendall against both former champions, Tom Kendall and Jackie D, and they are both vying for their spot. Only one of them can win this thing and make their way to the finals where they will be able to compete for the most treasured prize in wrestling." And here we go. And we'll start things off, and we'll give you, Dawson, control of the match to start.
For starters, he seems a lot more like kind of bouncy, like he's more of like a fighter type now. He's more confident himself. And then he sees Jackie just sit in the corner, and he's gonna try and goad him out by doing like little Greco-Roman handlock. It's his signature start. Then from there, Jackie would come to meet him, and then it starts turning into like a grappling fest where it's like grappling into arm bars, reversal into a reversal. Then it starts going into some more rope play, where it's a bunch of the leapfrogging stuff. I go down, he goes over. He does the bend down, I jump over, and then as it starts to get more into it, I'd say the big spot is going to be he tries to throw me over himself, and I would land on my feet, and then we just have a stare down.
Sounds good. So, you wanting that to be like a wrestling move?
Yes, please. I'd say up to you.
Work? Maybe work.
You got it. That is pretty. 13.
13. Crowd pops big as you nail the spot. Kind of reset this match to like a good bit of chain wrestling a bit, and then resets right back to you two staring each other down. A nice pace to the match. So you're going to get +1 momentum.
And from there, as it's like the crowd pops, everyone's cheering, roaring, ready to go. He would hold out his hand to see if his former combatant, the Jack of Hearts, would like to go for a handshake. And I'll try to do the sportsmanship move.
Ooh, okay. Awesome.
I guess it's up to you whether he shakes the hand or not, I guess. Because you shake hands with another wrestler, so he has to agree to do it.
He's going to like spit into his hand and goes to shake your hand.
As that happens, I get to roll plus real, and I'll just talk to him and say, let's give him one hell of a show. And for real, that was almost a 12. It's unfortunately an 11 minus 1, so 10.
Okay. What happens on the super success?
I get to pick 2, and that I can do either you or your opponent. Well, you both get 1 momentum, gain 1 heat, or you pick who attacks who. I'd say I will do +1 momentum for each of us, and because me and Jackie, we go back now a bit, we'll say we'll get a heat with each other.
Yeah, sounds good.
And from there, I guess the match continues. I will say it will then be giving it to. I'll say I'll give it back to creative.
Okay. So the spit handshake, and you maybe reluctantly accept, but he immediately uses it to kind of pull you in, and then grabs you for a headlock, and then moves you over to like the ropes and does like an eye rake, and just totally like disrespects the you know what little respect there was in that handshake. As you're stumbling around, kind of blinded by that, he goes in to wrap you up and puts you in like the electric chair move where he's got you up on his shoulders, and so you're standing up, and then he goes and he like throws you over his head to do a front pancake flat on your face right in the middle of the room, or the ring. Big pop for that as he stands up and he starts doing some more heel work with the audience. Looks like he's kind of circling you almost like a shark, like maybe getting ready to like put you in a minor submission hold. And he's going to kneel down and kind of put you in like a cross face. You're pretty close to the ropes, so you're able to like reach out and get the rope break. Just a few seconds after he puts the hold in. He goes to argue with the ref for a little bit after that happens, and tries to bully Jim Laybourne, who's having none of it, and throwing it right back in his face. He's dealt with Jackie plenty of times, but it gives you a little bit of time to roll out of the ring and catch your breath. As you are out there on the turnbuckle, he turns to see that you've scurried away, or not scurried away, but rolled out of the ring, and he's gonna like kind of lean back onto the ropes, launch himself off, and go for an over the top kind of like body drop onto you, which connects, and now the two of you are both like toppled on the outside of the apron. I'll pause right here just to see if there's any moves that anybody wants to make. Otherwise, Jackie D is going to get to his feet first. He's got that heel control in sort of the mid part of this match. As he grabs you, he's taking you over to the announce table, and Donnie's like, I just got this thing. For the love of God, please let me get to WTF Homecoming before you break it. And he's like slamming your head off of the announce table.
Interrupt. After probably the second hit, he'll like catch himself on the table, two hands planted on it, start going for back elbows, like ooh, ooh. And from there, he's gonna grab him and throw him right into the corner post of the ring to get him a little dazed up. He's gonna roll him back into the ring when that happens, and then he's gonna start climbing up the ropes, making his way to the top. And he's gonna try and go for a high flying move, which is gonna be a flying cutter. So as he starts to, Jackie D starts to get himself up, he turns around. The Ranger comes to meet him, jumps, and tries to hit this high flying cutter.
All right. Will that be a wrestling move?
Yes, please. Going for hopefully the human highlight reel. Not quite enough, but it is a 9.
Okay. And you could always spend a momentum too if you wanted to get it to the 10.
No, I will not, because I need to roll it 10 at the start of it to get it to work.
Gotcha.
But it hits, still works. I will retain control for now. So that hits. He lands on the ground. His face kind of like, oh, it hurts too much. And then he'll start going for some more like submission maneuvers, trying to get him to work on the tap. Jackie slowly starts crawling to the ropes, pull him back once more, and then a little as that's going on, more like kind of pounding as well. Keep trying to work that submission move. And then eventually he does make it to the ropes, where the rope breaks. Jim Laybourne gets him off. Then from there, as he's starting to recover, he's gonna kind of start prowling in the corner, trying to go look and see if he can hit his finishing move.
All right, so we're going to the finish. Tom Kendall has been booked to win this match, so do the finisher, and we will see how the crowd reacts to it.
He gets his finger pistol ready, points it right at Jackius, turns around, comes in with the high flying knee, and that is an 8 plus 3 for an 11.
All right. So with that finish, you signal it, you call your shot, and it's a high running knee as your finisher.
It's a high running knee that goes into like a big wild enziguri right to his head.
Bam! You hear the crack, and he's just out, and he just like dead weight, just sells the hell out of it and falls face forward. You roll him up. Jim Laybourne counts the 1, 2, 3, and we hear Tom Kendall's music play, and big call from commentary. Tom Kendall's back in this, baby. He's going all the way. He knows that's his property that has been held hostage through the Federation. He's going all the way, and he's going to get himself some gold. Well done. You get audience for that?
I get +1 audience. You hit your finisher clean.
Awesome. Anything that you do as you are exiting your match?
Instead of like his usual like rollout, he's gotta start working face a little bit. So kind of seeing like Jackie is in the corner, just like defeated. He sends his hand out to help him up and see he gets some sportsmanship out there.
Jackie D kind of accepts the lift a bit, and he's just like looking at you side-eyed, but you seem to like earn the respect. You know, he goes for a genuine handshake afterwards after you've helped him up, and just like clears out of the way of you. You guys go your separate ways to go to the backstage, and we see the action transitions backstage where we see the pikeman Frugal Dougal in the locker room area, perhaps getting ready for his match coming up against Al Snow. What do we see? What do we see from Frugal Dougal? What is his like? What would his brooding or being in the locker room kind of routine like kind of look like?
You would see him just. So I'm gonna spend one of my advances right now. I had one saved up, and I'm going to gain a manager, someone to come out with me. You see him just kind of sitting there quietly in like a dark room, and you would hear you would see him just looking up, and you would hear like this voice like going, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready to go out?" And
so you're gonna call for the balladeer to be your manager?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And at this point, like now, like he has like a little hint of like dark bags under his eyes a bit as he's kind of just sitting there. Forsooth. And he just stands and just starts walking. Like there's not much of anything other than him like.
So as you're exiting the locker room and we see this this minstrel like character who's got this harp, he starts playing it, and it's like the camera's like gonna follow you directly out to the ring. And as they're doing so, the balladeer is like plucking away at the harp, and he's playing this really like kind of dreadful song. And he's just
I picture like green sleeves, but it's just off.
Yeah. Like his gimmick has changed a little bit too. He was a little bit goofy over the top when he was with Sir Arthur, but now even he is kind of going a little bit like dark with it. He's singing this song and he's saying like, "Oh, pikeman, a martyr was born. Al Snow's heart is deeply torn. From guide to avenger, a new path is sworn. Awaken, pikemen. Embrace what's inside. The darkness is calling. No longer to hide. Yes. He's playing and playing and playing, and then like all of a sudden, bam! Like your punk rock green sleeve song is like maybe no more, and it's just like more of like a traditional green sleeves song, all slow and whatnot. So you begin to make your way to the ring, and like the commentary, Donnie is just like, this is a much darker version of the Pikeman than we've ever seen in the WTF. And what is this now? He's in some sort of alliance with the Balladeer, this little cretin that's been following him around and harassing him for the past few weeks. It seems now he's switched his allegiances to a new champion. I don't know what to make of that, but Al Snow is going to have his hands full.
I think if I can, as he comes out, they're going to have he'll have a plant. Always a kid that he always gives his pike to hold for him while he's going out. And there's the kid, and he's dressed up kind of like that. And he goes, and it's like this kid. It looks off. He looks like a young adult. It's like an adult, but it's dressed like a kid, and he's just sitting there for the cameras. And he goes and he hands the pike over to him, and then he goes and spits in his face and takes it back and just walks to the ring with the pike in his hand, just standing there.
My God, what is this? Punking out kids now? What a villain this is. I really hope Al Snow gives him the beating of a lifetime. And then, you're getting.
What does everybody want?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw it on here.
What does everybody need?
And so we see Al Snow coming out to the ring. What does Al Snow's entrance theme look like in 2023?
So it's a jaunt instead of a run out. It's a jaunt that kind of goes up, and he's got the head up and he's looking around, and then he'll bang it. Maybe not as much of a he won't lean forward as much as he used to. It's maybe not as fast as it used to be, but he's doing it. And then he stops and he cradles his head. He's kind of walking down and he's smiling and he's looking and he's pointing. And there's some head folks in the crowd, and you see them throwing it up. So he's kind of acknowledging them. And I think he would terrorize the manager of Pikeman a little bit, and just kind of do the head thing right next to him a bunch. And then would just kind of stand right next to him and look down at him. And then he'll climb into the ring and put head in the corner and make sure that head's all comfy, cozy, and looking good underneath, and then turn around and ready to go.
The Balladeer is just kind of screaming from the apron. He's just like, "You watch yourself, Al Snow. Your days are numbered. My champion will defeat you squarely in the middle of the ring." Jim Laybourne's waving him to shut up, and he's checking with both of you. I don't want any funny business in this match. It's going to be a clean fight. One fall or submission. All right.
Come on, Jim. If it's not fun, what are we doing? Huh?
Hey. I know about you, Al, and I'm gonna be keeping two eyes on you.
Yeah, both of them, please. I love you, Jimmy.
All right, ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. And the match is officially underway. We'll give, I think we'll give Joe control to start this one off.
All right. So Al's gonna, sniff, 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 and we're gonna do an initial lock. So hands on shoulders, we're locked up. What's your reaction, Pikeman?
I think Pikeman still has his pike kind of standing next to him as you like are like tying up with him, and he's like doing it with like one hand.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I think he will be stiff, kind of looking at you. He's not like his normal like kind of like self. He's a bit like stiff as he's kind of playing this kind of monstrous kind of role right now, as he's just
So then
kind of
Al,
staring at you.
yep. So Al's gonna like push off and like point at the pike and look at Jim and be like, "What about that? You're talking about funny business? Get that pike out of here!"
Trying, it won't let
Come
go.
on, Jim, do
Jim
your
Livermore's like
job.
trying to pull the pike away from you.
And he's gonna he'll I think I'm gonna interrupt. I have one momentum now. I started with 2 at the beginning as soon as it started. I'm gonna interrupt, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna as you're trying to grab it, right off the bat, I'm gonna say the manager jumps up and he starts like playing his little tune like at like the ref, and right off the bat, like the ref is just kind of Jim is gonna go and start like getting pissed off at the at this bard that he's here, and like as Al is kind of like they're kind of looking, he's just gonna kind of just go forward and just slam like the hilt of his pike like right in like Al Snow's face, and then he'll just throw it to the side on the ground as he then begins to just start like wailing. And at this point the ref is back as he starts wailing on Al Snow.
Commentary is just like, this man says he has honor? Come on, give me a break.
And so he's going to town on Al Snow. He's going for the elbows and back to the fist to get Al in the into the corner of the ring. The pikeman just turns around and like does like this very like formal march like away from him, and then just goes like and rushes forward with like both of his hands like he's holding a pike, and just like boom, like just gives him a giant shove with his shoulder right up against it. And there the ref is trying to get him to get off, and then like as he moves off, the ref kind of turns away to step back, and like the pikeman like shoves his shoulder up into Al Snow's like jaw. Like he's fighting dirty as he's just hasn't said anything and is just kind of staring at Al Snow. I think at this point I will take a momentum and I'm going to pass it over to Al.
All right. So I would say that the barrages would continue until Al is able to kind of like slip away. He's checking for blood as he's walking from one corner to the next. Pikeman then comes up behind to Irish whip, but Al Snow counters and like reverses it, so he's throwing the pikeman into the ropes, and pikeman is now headed towards Al Snow. Do you want to have a reaction, Isaac?
As he goes into Al Snow, like there is no like facial expression. He is just like looking at you, like trying to be as menacing as possible, just like almost like not blinking. He's just staring at you as he's running forward, like at you.
All right. Then Al's gonna do a drop toe hold as a wrestling move and a work.
All right.
That is a 6. So that'd be a botch. So Isaac, you get to describe how you counter or save from disaster, and then you get to take control of the match.
So he's getting close, and then like at the last minute, and he sees this toe, like he totally misses. Like Al Snow's like his mind is in the right spot, but like everything, like his body isn't doing what his mind is doing. His body isn't doing what his mind wants, and he goes to do this like hold, and he totally like misses the heal altogether. So, but he'll stand there, and instead of like reacting like normally he would like kind of get up and do another move, he'll just stand there, and he'll just leave his foot out, almost like begging Al Snow to still do the lock. And Al will go up and he'll like kind of look at him a bit, kind of confused, and he'll go to start doing this heel lock, and like the pikeman just starts laughing and just starts slowly standing, almost like no selling the hold. It's just standing over him as like Al Snow is standing up, like as he's like on his knees looking up at him, still holding on to the pikeman's heel. The pikeman stands over him and just looks at him, kind of laughing a bit, and goes straight for like his head to do this like this watermelon like cantaloupe squeeze where someone grabs their head and starts like trying to like pop his head completely. Yeah, what is your reaction to this? What is Al's reaction to that?
I'll use my fighting spirit free interrupt for the match. And what's your body at?
Body is at. He's going all like work. He's not that strong. He's a -1.
Okay, cool. So I gain 1 momentum for that as well. So with my free interrupt, Al's gonna like duck down. So your hands kind of like clash together like this, and you're like dazed and confused. Al turns around and does a German suplex, and we'll call that a work. So that's a 9. No, sorry, it's an 8. But either way, keep the attention, choose whether to hand control. Oh, I'm going to retain control of the match. So German suplex goes over, or works. So Pikeman's down on his shoulders. Al spins around, kind of does like one like flip back of his hair and does a headbang. He's all excited. Gives three kicks while the pikeman's down on the ground and kind of like starting to get back up. And then Al Snow pushes back and does another Irish whip against the ropes. Pikeman's heading towards Al. Do you want a reaction?
I am going to. I think at this point, I'm gonna interrupt. I'll interrupt
Okay.
instead. So the pikeman is going to go forward, and as you are ready to do this this move again, where you're going back to like that heel lock to kind of trip him up, he just stands there and like bumps into you, and Al's kind of like taken aback, and he's kind of checking his head a bit. At this point, the ref is going to go, and he's going to go and check on Al to make sure he's okay, because he's feeling it with that headshot before. At this point, Pikeman is going to hold out his hand, and like out of nowhere, like the minstrel just throws like the pike, and he just grabs it like without looking, and goes and looks at the head in the corner, and goes and just sits there and like does like this whole like advancement, and like where he's at just goes and just like runs through head with the pike, and just totally like and like cracks it open, and just like starts like ka 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 ka.
Donnie's on commentary. He's just like, oh my god, he did not just do that. He just impaled head with that pike. Just when we saw Al Snow coming into his own in this match and showing that he's still got a few left in him. We've seen this before. This could totally derail Al Snow. What is this mental state gonna be like for the remainder of this matchup?
Al's like beside himself. He's like, what? Ah! He's just freaking out. He's upset. Can't believe it.
I think at this point, as he is going to try to take advantage of this I'm actually I'm gonna say that Al is pissed off, so he's gonna try it and start fighting. Like he's gonna give him a little bit of this like intensity as he starts beating down the pikeman. Like after he like just like pretty much like destroyed his one true love. I'm gonna use the put him over move as I show a little bit of vulnerability as I'm getting wailed on by you. That is a 7. So with that, one of us gains audience, the other one loses one audience. You choose. Al chooses.
What are you at?
I'm at 2.
I would say that you would gain it. And I think Al would lose it. Yeah. Mhm.
I guess I continue because it doesn't show anything. I think at this point, like
I think you
it looks
retain,
like
yeah.
I think Al is like starting to do it, and it looks like for a moment like the pikeman is starting to stagger. He's starting to stagger, and at that moment, the minstrel just ring, and like instantly, like that, like the pikeman just stands at attention, almost like the minstrel like is controlling the pikeman's body, like, and he's fighting through the pain of you trying to punch him, and you trying to wail on him, and everything you're doing isn't working, and the pikeman just goes, steps on your foot, you go down to like to reel at it, and he's popping his signature move, his finisher, to try to finish the match.
All right, we're going to the finish. The Pikeman Frugal Dougal has been booked to win this match.
It's going for the London Broil. And that is a 7. We're going to do oh no, I'll just leave it at a 7. So with that, I use my veteran skills to force. No. As I do it, like you're fighting, and I drop you, but in return, you take the hit, and I go down to pin you. But as soon as I pin you, like I would say Al like comes to, and this is the first time ever that someone's taken the London Broil and been taken down. But as soon as like the pin is over, and you get the call out, like you pop right back up and just start going after me, and you'll gain an audience for that.
Oh.
So commentary is just like kind of putting over the idea that Al Snow's doing this for his friend laid up in the hospital. He was fighting for everything he could to try to honor his friend and win back his championship, but it wasn't enough. In the end, Frugal Dougal picks up the pin and is going to advance in this tournament.
Well, so I'd like to, provided Isaac, you're okay with this narrative, I would like the pikeman then to like roll out, right, and like move out of the ring, not as like a scared, but like my work's done, I'm moving, and your manager is still kind of like there and kind of agape at what's happening. So Al like fixates on them and like runs after them, and there's like this comic like chasing around the ring, and Al finally catches up and grabs the manager and like takes him up to the top of the ramp after you've gone. You're not even really paying attention, and he takes the manager and like throws him off the ramp into a set of tables that are on the concrete.
I'm just an advocate.
And then Al's music plays to give everybody one more "What Does Everybody Want" pop, and Al like goes up and he doesn't have head, and he has to run down and grab the pieces, and like he's petting head and making sure that head can get sutured back up, runs back out.
And that is what closes out the show. They at the end of this broadcast are spinning out all the details, and they say we'll be back for our next show. We'll be back in Madison, Wisconsin, at the Alliant Energy Center. WTF comes home for WTF Homecoming. And they give all the details about how you can order the pay-per-view and see it online and blah 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 blah. And then the show goes off air. And as we close out, they're going to be dismantling the ring. They're going to say farewell to all the audience and start loading up the trucks to make the trek just a bit north to Wisconsin to get set up.
So during that match, I went down to 0. I get an advancement when my audience falls to 0 the first time in an episode.
Oh, sure.
And then Isaac's veteran moves put me back up to +1. So I'm gonna actually spend my advancement because I've already spent 4. I'm gonna spend my advancement to repackage Grimes for when he comes back.
Oh, nice.
Okay, good. Hang on to that.
Yep.
So, do we need to take a break before we go to the big event?
I'd say so.
Okay.
I'm good for a quick break.
Yeah, let's take a 5-10 minute break, and when we come back, we will see ourselves out to the final event of our World Wrestling playthrough. Been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. As we'll be coming back for a big main event in which we will see a new WTF champion. So we will be right back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us here tonight on 20 Sides to Every Story. This is a live play of Worldwide Wrestling. It's a tabletop role-playing game that's a bit narrative-focused that tries to replicate the production of a pro wrestling show. There's a lot of rules that govern both in-ring and out-of-ring action. Try to tell the story of a wrestling promotion. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. This is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Pretty much everything, anytime you do different moves or mechanics throughout the game, typically rely on a 2d6 roll to, then you add some kind of stat or bonus to whatever you're rolling and consult the book to see how it impacts your different resource pools that fuel the action of the game. So we've been having a lot of fun with it. And tonight is our final episode, and we are going to see ourselves through to the first ever pay-per-view for the Wrestle to the Future promotions, WTF Homecoming. And basically, since the last show that we just had on the first half of the program here, we saw the beginnings of a tournament that would lead to 2 people who would enter this pay-per-view to compete for the WTF Championship. And of course, those 2 individuals are the Pikeman Frugal Dougal and the Ranger Tom Kendall, who have been billed and booked as the main event for this promotion. We now find ourselves at the Alliant Energy Center. It is a sold-out crowd. Sold out for maybe the very first time at their home arena, as we see the crowd as the show is opening. The cameras are just panning and making a big fuss about the fact that they have sold every seat in the house. Donnie is on the commentary desk, and he is joined by a legacy individual, somebody who is a former wrestler who is joining him on commentary to kind of add some color commentary. And we see big pyrotechnics. There's a big fireworks show to start off the program and signal the very first pay-per-view. They even they get like a singer to sing like the national anthem and everything. Like they do like that whole thing to try to make themselves look very much like a real sports event. And I think the very first thing that the viewers at home are going to see is kind of a highlight reel of all of the action that has taken place throughout the tournament. They're going to catch a glimpse of the Al Snow Frugal Dougal matchup and everything that happened there. Tom Kendall and his matchup with his sort of on again, off again rival at this point, Jackie D. And all of that kind of plays out. They also play maybe a little bit of a highlight reel about the drama with the tag team, the Graduates, kind of holding this arena hostage a bit to get themselves into a tag team titles match. All of that kind of plays out. But very first segment that we see play out, we hear Nikki Notion's music plays. This almost like kind of like and it's kind of like a little bit of like a hip hop beat that plays. Lots of colorful lights kind of hitting her as she comes down. And she's not as morose as last time we saw her. She's got her sunglasses on, her scarf, and she's whooping it up with the crowd. She pulls out her selfie stick, and as she's going down to the ramp, taking photos with folks in the crowd, kids, adults alike, and makes her way to the ring as she gets announced as, and now we hear from the owner of the company, Nikki Notion. And she grabs a mic and almost immediately she's like, hey everyone, it's Nikki Notion here, your vivacious, oh so fab owner of the WTF Wrestling. I just want to extend a huge thank you to all of you, both here in the Alliant Energy Center and those of you there at home. And welcome everyone for making tonight our very first sold out pay-per-view event here at the Alliant Energy Center. Welcome everyone to WTF Homecoming. Big round of applause. Everyone is very excited to see the promotion back in its hometown. And Nikki says, we've got a night jam-packed with energy, excitement, and endless action. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second. The battles, the drama, the surprises, it's all, and there will be surprises, I promise you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We're going to get the action rolling in just a second. But first, let's hear from some of the individuals who will be in our main event. And that leads us to going backstage, where some of the backstage crew at this point, with the promotion growing, they've got a number of interviewers on staff now. There's maybe young, maybe recent college graduate who's been interning with WTF, who's got a mic and is going to go and seek out Tom Kendall for a word. And so where do you think, Dawson, we would see this interview taking place?
I would say it's probably in the equivalent of what would be their locker room. Like he's kind of like gearing up, getting ready to go, fixing up his hat, they're probably putting him on as they enter the room.
So the intern comes up to you, is kind of like waving the camera over, very kind of tepidly, kind of holding the mic over to you, and she says, Tom Kendall, you are in the match of your lifetime. Just a short month ago, you lost the WTF Championship against Zach Grimes. Now you have an opportunity again to recapture your title. What are your thoughts leading into tonight's match?
Well, for starters, it's great to be back in the great state of Wisconsin, back at the Alliant Energy Center. It's a great start. Gonna get that good old cheap heat. Just give it a good start. But you are right. This is definitely one of the biggest matches of anyone's career could be, and I'm lucky to be one of the few that have two chances at even such an opportunity. I plan to go out there and give it my all. And if I come out the champion again, let's hope we have one hell of a reign. But if I lose, well, then I know I'm not the best.
Your opponent in this match tonight is the man responsible for incapacitating the man who took your WTF championship after that epic cage match 1 month ago. what are your thoughts or feelings? What is your strategy leading into tonight's match against this ferocious opponent?
Here's what I gotta say, Pikeman. You and I go way back as well. Probably almost as back as me and Grimes did. I thought I could learn from you on what it means to be a professional wrestler in this business. But now I don't even know who you are anymore. And tonight, when we face in the ring, I'll make sure Grimes is avenged.
So you earn a momentum for the cheap pop. Would you like to roll for cutting a promo?
You sure bet your buckets I do. I'll succeed at one of these times. Let's see how well Frugal Doogle's telling me how to do good promos works. So I rolled a 7. -2 was 5. But I have momentum, right? Might as
do.
well spend it. We'll spend 2 momentum to get that to a 7. As I have their attention, so I can either make creative book you in a match, I'm ready in a match, add a stipulation to a relevant match. Ooh. They come out in response to your promo or gain 1 heat. I'm already at max heat with them. I will say for the stipulation, I think I'll add a stipulation to it, unless there's already a match type.
Right now, it's just a clean one-on-one match.
How about, because I believe we all know what the Alliant Energy Center is and what's around it, how about a false count anywhere?
Ooh.
Yes. All right. So you drop that into the promo that this is going to be a falls count anywhere type of match. You already worked it out with Nikki, and
Nowhere is safe.
awesome. So kind of like almost competing, like we hear from Tom Kendall, but we immediately snap to somewhere else in the building. Isaac, where would that be for Frugal Doogle?
I'm gonna say Frugal Doogle. I don't know. I'm gonna say like there's fog, and it's kind of moody, a bit, and Frugal's just kind of sitting forward and just looking as like the music is playing, kind of in the background, and he just kind of looks and goes, "I'm ready. The stench must be cleaned. I will be looking to birth a new type of champion, one that is not afraid to do what they must to win. Those of you that stand with me." And he's kind of just looking off, kind of, talking to like, not, he's looking off, not looking at the camera. You were broken once. Well, am I not a leader now? What do you say? Will you take up arms and follow me one last time? And like then the camera will like pan away. And like before he came out with like 10 people, right? And now it's like 40 people all, but instead of having like the little like cassocks on, like they all have like cloaks and like hoods on. And all of a sudden like the music like plays pring, and they're all forsooth, 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 and every like it could be heard like at that moment like throughout the arena. Forsooth, forsooth, and he just kind of stares there and looks, and like as he looks like this, it finally shows like the camera his eyes and his eye, like he's wearing like white contacts, like they're all white as he just kind of looks forward, and then it'll like cut.
All right. Would you like to make a roll on a move of any kind?
Sure, I'll do. I mean, I guess it would be a promo, right?
Sure.
I don't know what else I could really do at that point. We'll do promo. Let's see. Sorry, just moving to get that up. Here we go. So that is a 9. Yeah, it would be nice if when you clicked it, it went to where it's at.
Right.
I got a 9, so I think I'm going to add a stipulation as well to this falls count anywhere. And that is no disqualification. Like, I mean, it's already, but it's like he's just making it a point. Like,
Sure.
anything goes.
All right. So as that promo ends, a kind of vignette style, like it's very cinematic kind of feel, the way that they record it out in the mists somewhere behind the Alliant Energy Center.
It's the swamp. The swamps.
By the swamp, yeah.
Little swamp thing that. Yeah.
Yep. The show goes on, and there's kind of the warm up matches and everything. Maybe the third to last match is going to be that tag team match between the current champions, those luchador vampire gimmicked characters, and the graduates. And I don't know. What do we think? Who should win that? Did the heels go over in that one that had set up this long-term thing? That probably would be fitting that the graduates
I think
cheat.
so.
They use they've rigged like the Alliant Energy Center with like little traps and such, and
it's why they're back.
Yeah. So then they go over, and there's like a I don't know, a little cool down match in between. But then it's time for the main event. And so we fade in. There's maybe some kind of goofy like commercial type of thing that happens, like something that's like celebrating the sponsors or whatever, but then it cuts back to the ring, and we see the ring announcer is spotlight on him in the middle of the ring, and he just says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event of this evening. The culmination of weeks of intense rivalry, the struggle for honor, the battle for supremacy. We are here at WTF's first pay-per-view event, WTF Homecoming, where the best of the best have come to prove their worth." Crowd erupts in an applause. "Tonight, we will witness a clash of titans. The Pikemen, Frugal Dougal, versus the Ranger, Tom Kendall. One of these warriors will emerge the new WTF champion." Crowd's excitement is building.
I'd like to use my repackaged move of Showstopper, which allows me once per episode to appear in any segment, in ring or out, and turn it into something about you. I'd like to, and then it says, when you make your appearance to clear your agenda for the segment, continue on from there. If a player's wrestler tries to buck your plan, they break kayfabe. The way I want this to play out is, if you're okay with it as creative, I would like to have it be that the ring announcer announces the first competitor, and instead of their music playing, it's Zach Grimes' music that plays.
Okay.
And Zach comes out.
Sounds good. So they, maybe they first would introduce, introducing first from the annals of history, hailing from 1500s England, standing at 6'2", weighing in at 230 pounds. He is the... What's this? And you can see, like, he kind of like covers the mic as we hear... It is Zach Grimes' music hits, and nobody saw this coming. Big pop. And what do we see at the top of the ramp?
We see nothing for a moment.
Oh, nothing for a moment.
We're just hearing the music. There's confusion in the arena as to like what is going on. Like
Okay.
this is very different. This was not anticipated. Nobody's said anything about Zach coming back. There's been no reports on the dirt sheets that like Zach is in the arena or anything. So like it seems like it's a mistake, like some
Okay.
sort of sick, weird mistake.
And
But then
like,
all of a sudden, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, is it the kind of, is he coming out, or is it like they're gonna play it off like it's a
No.
mistake, and like
No, he's coming out.
he's coming out right now? Okay.
I want him to come out, but coming out onto the stage is like this plume of peacock feathers, or like faux peacock feathers that kind of like cascade down, and there's also like a few of them that come out in front, so you can't confirm that it's Zach Grimes. And there it's just like slowly walking out, kind of like in this stilted, weird walk, and all of a sudden you hear like these weird peacock noises coming, and the music stops, and then Zach's feathers shed, and you see like a clean Zach Grimes, no blood, nothing like that, but he's got really heavy like mascara and like peacock feather like spots kind of like painted off the sides of his face. And he's got a microphone, and he says, you know, I spent a lot of time in my own head thinking about life, thinking about love, thinking about friendship, thinking about championships. And while I was thinking about those things in my own head, alone, I was thinking the world needs to see me. Me for who I am. Me aside from all the gimmicks, all the grandstanding that happens, all the machismo that seems to drive every aspect of this entire business. Not just WTF, but around the world. Why can't we all just accept ourselves for who we are? And I'm here to enter into the tournament as a third entrant in this match. I demand Nikki Notion to come out and honor my request. As it's owed to me, this title was taken away from me without any control of my own. I'm here to defend my title in this tournament. Nikki, I'm going to sit down on this ramp until you come out and grant me entrance into this match. So Zach Grimes is now a provocateur. Yeah, he'll be pushing some boundaries.
But will you go too far?
Oh, baby.
So Zach Grimes is sitting in the middle of the ring, almost in open protest of allowing the show to reach its final conclusion, unless he is inserted into this match.
Correct. And gains momentum for using Showstopper.
That puts you at 3.
3, yes, sir.
I will pause here just for a moment just to see if anybody else is going to do. Okay. So Nikki Notion's music will hit, and she's just kind of like looking around a little, like she's kind of gesturing. She's looking at Zach like bewildered a bit, taken aback, and she rolls into the ring, and someone hands her a microphone, and she says, "Well, Zach, let me just say on behalf of the entire WTF family, it is just so lit to see you here in the middle of this ring, healthy. So congratulations on a full recovery. You're looking great. I love what you've done with these peacock feathers. This is this the true you?"
It's the truest form of me you've seen yet.
Well, that is just absolutely rad. I tell you what. And you know what? It's true. Like, you never like gave up the title. And so
I know.
I guess you're like still the WTF champion. So, do you have like the belt with you? Show off that thing.
He reaches back behind into the feathers and pulls it out.
Wow. And she's just, like, kind of gesturing for a round of applause from the audience, and she says, "Well, I guess this thing is a triple threat now, y'all. So, anything could happen in the WTF. Let's get the other two down here. Let's get this party started."
Zach stands up and like looks at Nikki and then gives her a hug, and like uncomfortably long hug, but still like genuine. Like he's, or at least it is portraying it as genuine, right? So like just holding on.
She's got the selfie stick out. She's taking pictures of this. Like, hers is less than genuine. But as the hug goes on maybe just a little too long, we're going to hear the Spurs play. Know that Tom Kendall is on his way to the ring. Dawson, what are we seeing as the music hits?
You see him as he comes out from just around the face corner of the arena entrance. He begins to look upon the great crowd, acknowledging all the cheers from all the fans, looking down the ring, seeing his old pal, the new reborn Zach Grimes. He just looks down at him and just gives him a smile and a nod. Then as he continues walking down the ramp, he spots one lone kid who's like in a little, best way you can describe it is his mom went to the Halloween store and bought like a Woody outfit from Toy Story, be his own little ranger. But it seems like this kid's missing a hat. So the ranger would take his hat off, flip it, place it on the kid's head. And he's been trying to work that audience to get him riled up to support the hopefully up-and-coming champion, Tom Kendall.
Tom Kendall strides down to the ring, gets in, squares up maybe a bit with Zach, and they wait the third member of this trio for the main event. We see hear the sounds of Greensleeves playing. All the lights go dark. And there's a bunch of fog that kind of fills up the ramp in a sort of a prelude to what's on its way. And we see the silhouettes of, I imagine, all of these pikemen beginning to fill up the top stage area.
Well, at first you would see that solid, like always he'll do that starting to sharpen his pike tip. And like the last one, it goes and he slams down, but he's by himself. But his eyes are like all filmy, right? All milky white. And he just starts stepping forward. as it's like the somber green sleeves plays, and he'll go Forsooth. And as he does that, like from around the Eliot Stinner, all the entrances, all the fans would start like looking back as they start hearing Forsooth back, and like every entrance of the stadium has like a pikeman like starting to walk down to the arena with him as he just is like slowly coming down, and then like right at that moment the bard like comes out and starts playing along with Greensleeves, and like the pikeman like dips, like stands too, and then starts like a bit more rigidly, kind of like robotic, he starts walking forward to the ring as like the pikemen are like descending onto the ring. Not necessarily, they don't like go over into the actual ring area, but they're all kind of in the audience, kind of along, kind of all at unison, Forsooth, Forsooth, Forsooth. And it looked like, even the vignette, it looked like there was 50. There must be like at least 100 like people all dressed up, all doing it in unison. Like maybe some of the kids are like crying and stuff. It's like this moment is happening as he just goes and moves to the ring quietly, just stands there staring at Grimes and Tommy.
So the music ceases to play. There's a big match feel. The announcer gets back into the middle of the ring, mic in hand, and says, "The following contest is a no disqualification falls counts anywhere match scheduled for one fall and is for the WTF Championship. Introducing first, from the annals of history, hailing from 1500s England, standing at 6'2", weighing in at 230 pounds, he is the pikeman, Frugal Dougal."
And Frugal Dougal would just sit there, kind of sway back and forth, and then you would hear the bring, and then he'd stand up straight and go Forsooth, and of course everyone around Forsooth, being extra spooky.
Hey, and thank you so much for the raid. We got a raid coming in from Table Knights. Coming in, thank you so much. Throw a shout out up here for you. We are playing some Worldwide Wrestling. It is a tabletop RPG it's a narrative tabletop RPG that is built on, powered by the Apocalypse system, and helps to simulate the running of a pro wrestling show. This is our final episode. You're coming right in, right as we're making some announcements for the main event for the WTF Wrestle to the Future Promotions Championship. We just introduced the pikeman, Frugal Dougal, major villain in this contest. And the announcer again goes, "And in this corner of the ring, standing at 5'8", weighing in at 180 pounds, he is the lawman of the ring, the Ranger, Tom Kendall."
And as he gets announced, he's probably popping up to like the top rope and just like raising his arms up in the air, just accepting all the cheers, just basking in it, and then starts to hop down and it's like bouncing back and forth, ready to go.
And finally, we have in this corner, hailing from Munster, Indiana, standing, nay, walking at 6'4", weighing it at 190 pounds. He is the reigning, defending, undisputed WTF champion, Zach Grimes.
Grimes would take he'd reach back here and kind of like do like this flourish, and the long feathers would come off. But then he's got tights on that now you can see because the long feathers are gone, that have like little tufts of peacock feathers that come out like the back. So like the back of his trunks have like this little plume that will most assuredly get destroyed within like the first couple of minutes, but they're there. They look nice. And just kind of throws the feathers down by the announce table.
There's just a buzz in the crowd for the shock return of Zach. Just buzz in general for this main event that we've got the 3 most over people in the company about to compete for this title. Donnie Kovitz is on commentary just saying, "My God, this is a homecoming indeed. Tonight, these 3 warriors will clash in a battle for supremacy, for glory, for honor. And it's for the most prestigious prize in our sport. Who will emerge victorious? Who will write their names in the annals of WTF history? It's time to find out." And we've got our referee in the ring. He kind of checks on everybody. It's there's a lot of build up to this. But he makes the signal. The bell is rung. And I think this match is going to start in control of the most over competitor in the company. We're going to have Dawson lead off with the Ranger Tom Kendall.
Being like everyone's ready to go. The bell is rung. He's like hyped up. He's ready to go. He's gonna just immediately just start like working the crowd, just getting them pumped up, like clap, 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 trying to get the audience like pumped up, ready to go for something big to happen.
All right, gonna work the audience.
Work the audience. That was almost another good one. That is 14.
All right, I'll work the audience with a 14.
I will choose to bask in the moments as you start cheering and gain 1 momentum. And I will pass it over to someone else as he's just more like pumping up the crowd. We'll pass it to the pikeman.
At this point, Alex, just so before we start, I'm at 2 momentum whenever we start a match. At this point, as he's cheering and doing it, the pikeman just moves forward, looks over at Grimes, looks over at Tommy, like cheering, and immediately like goes with his pike and just goes to go for a cheap shot in the back of Tommy's head. Tommy falls to the ground, and then he kind of almost like kicks him aside. Tommy kind of rolls to the side right there, and he looks and just stares at Grimes. He just begins to walk slowly. He begins to walk slowly until they're almost like facing each other. Like, and I guess Grimes is actually a bit taller than him, but he's kind of looking up at him. And then he'll just go, and of course he's gonna go and get real close, like he's stepping away, and then goes and does like a headbutt to Grimes right in his head, his face. But as he does it, like he shows no pain, as he's just like, and goes like straight to give him a headbutt and just stares forward. Grimes, I would guess he was. What is your reaction? I'd say, what is his reaction?
Yeah, he was waving, and I think he would stand there. He's looking stern now for the first time, but he's he's not. He's ready for what he thinks is coming, but I don't think that Zach would be ready for a headbutt. He's just got his eyes on that pike, so the head coming in would be a surprise.
He would go again, and he would attempt this time, as he's kind of looking at that, he's going to go again and attempt to go ahead and just do another headbutt, as Grimes kind of just standing there, kind of being extra dirty, just boom as hard as he can. And he's just kind of staring at him, holding the pike, looking at him. I would say Grimes maybe still a bit stern, but is looking down. And at this point, I'm going to say Frugal Dougal then does his patented, like with the shaft of his pike, he's going to fake the headbutt and go for a stern shot to the head of Grimes. And I don't know what I would say that would be his wrestling move. Whatever. It's just him just kind of slowly beating him down. Should I roll? I think I'm just gonna roll heat with him.
Okay.
Just because I'm kind of. I'm not working stiff yet, but he's gonna just roll heat to try to do this wrestling move with him. So we have a +2 at this point. That's.
I would
going
also
to...
say that the hardcore move is probably on the table in this match, just as a FYI.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna find that one. So he goes and he does that wrestling move. And with that, I think in that case I might do the hardcore instead.
Yeah, it's the
'Cause-
hardcore move is probably more appropriate, but
Okay, so with a reel. So I'm gonna use one momentum to make it a 10. I draw first blood, so Grimes actually starts bleeding from this hit to the check to the head. The crowd goes nuts. Well, maybe in a way like they're booing even more so. And I get to choose. I could retain control and get to choose 2 of these. I am going to. I guess I'm going to gain 1 heat with Grimes, which will actually throw me up to a 3, which is what I need. And I think since you're already at 3 heat with me, correct?
I am at 3 with you. Yes.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna say that like this was meant like this was a little residual like hate. I end up like cracking you pretty hard, and you. It is revealed later that you actually get a pretty nasty like maybe concussion from this hit from the pole.
Got it.
working pretty stiff. We see the first color of the match, and Donnie is like, "Oh, this one is not going to be for the faint of heart, folks. We are only a few minutes into this bout, and already we are seeing poor Zach Grimes, fresh off of injury, back in this match, and he's got a nasty wound off the top of his head from that pike."
I'm going to say at this point, I am going to gain a momentum and pass it over to the Ranger.
As he's continuing to wail and wail on Grimes in the corner, he does not notice that the Ranger is one tough SOB and is already gearing up with pistol in hand, with finger guns, bang bang. He's gonna go right for the finisher and just try and shatter the pike. So I don't know if that's gonna be a wrestling move to break someone's pike or stiff. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
That's the
let's take a look at the work real stiff.
Work stiff says you actually try to hurt them is what's pretty much saying.
I mean, breaking the pike doesn't necessarily have to be like the spot either. Like you could just say that you do that. Like you don't have to roll necessarily to confirm that.
All right, then I'll just say that it's probably a little cut in a little bit at the end, and just one good roundhouse kick just shatters the top part of the pike as he's going to wail it. And then from there, he grabs Frugal, throws him in the corner, starts climbing up to the second turnbuckle, and just starts pounding, going for it. You know what? I will also try to do one of those hardcore rules. Why not? Let's draw more blood out. Let's get it going. So it's a real roll? Is that what it is?
Sure.
I've been trying to find it. I can't.
Yeah. It's roll plus
It is
real.
real. Yeah.
All right,
Page
so that'd be a
250 on
5, so not quite good enough, but I will spend 2 momentum to push it to a success, and I'm not sure what successes are because I can't find it.
Hardcore. The crowd pops. You gain 1 momentum, and you pick. You gain 1 momentum and pick one, and your opponent takes control of the match. You are able to. Someone in the match gets injured but isn't discovered till afterwards. Gain 1 heat with your opponent. They gain 1 heat with you.
I will say you gain 1 heat with me,
So we're at 3. Nice. Okay.
and I will pass control.
I was going to because I've just been like thinking about you breaking that lance, and if you wanted some kind of mechanical thing to go with it, I would say that maybe that's working babyface, and so if you wanted to use that babyface move, you could spend 2 momentum and then pick one of the things on that list.
Let's see what the face has got.
So it's gain +1 heat with your opponent, leave your opponent speechless, make creative book you in a match, or expose villainous behavior to book a cheater to lose a match.
Ooh. I will say we will not do that quite yet. We want to say that for a little bit later, but as I'm starting to beat him, blood's coming out, he gains the heat with me, I will pass it towards Grimes, who is free in the corner.
Okay. I think I gain control after with that botch, but I think either way, I think I'd give it to Grimes either way.
Okay. So yeah, Grimes is a little stumbly, a little bloodied, but eventually comes over and pulls Ranger off, and the two look at each other, and Grimes puts a hand out to Ranger to shake. What is Ranger's reaction?
Gotta go for that sportsmanship. He's clasping.
Hell yeah.
You're
Big
gonna
ol' shake.
You're gonna make me roll plus real, because whenever you shake a hand with another wrestler,
Let's do it. Go for it.
it's a 7. Either both gain 1 momentum, gain 1 heat with each other, or someone attacks who. What is your momentum or your heat with me right now?
My heat with you is at maximum 4.
Mm-hmm. I will say you pick who attacks who, and I will leave it to if you want to attack me or not.
Could we say that the pikeman comes to attack both of us? Is that cool?
Excellent.
Okay, so the pikeman gets up to come after both of us, and we're gonna attempt to double clothesline with our embraced hands to get him to fall down. And that's gonna be a wrestling move. So I'm gonna roll. What is that? Let's say it's work. Oh, buddy.
We can roll plus heat because it's both of us.
Sure, let's do that. So then that's gonna be a 7. So I'll retain control. We'll say that pikeman gets hit and kind of does like a little flippy flip when it's a nice little lariat. He sells it real well. and then we lock eyes. Ranger and Grimes run to opposite sides of the ring, do a bounce back, and then let's say Ranger does a like standing moonsault, and Grimes does a like butt bomb kind of thing where like you go up and cannonball down with your back, and we'll call that one a work. So that's a 5. I'm gonna burn 2 momentum to make it. Actually, no, I'm gonna call that a botch. I'm gonna keep that a botch. So Isaac, you can describe either how you counter or how you save us, and then control is yours.
So it was like a butt bomb. What did you say? It
Yeah,
was,
like Grimes would like jump up. If you picture like jumping up as if you're gonna do a cannonball into the
Mhm.
water, but instead you like rock backwards and then your back lands on their chest, and
Okay.
then Ranger is going for like a backflip to like splash onto your legs, basically. So we're both trying to do that, and we've botched.
Okay. So I think what is going to happen is at that point, the pikeman is kind of a bit kind of entranced, and at that point, of course, again, this minstrel is gonna bring, 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 and like at that moment, like almost instantly, like he rolls forward, where you both kind of he probably could see that it wasn't gonna end well. Like he was gonna get wrecked. So he started rolling, and then like it was more like he started rolling, and then like the guy was like playing it like to try to like pretend like he was doing that. So he moves out of the way. You both kind of roll, kind of and get entangled, kind of hit midair and fall to the ground. Um, as as the pikeman slowly like begins to kind of move up and look at both of you on the ground. And for a second, like he looks and sees like both of you, and for an instant, like he starts like blinking, kind of like almost like he's fighting like this turmoil inside. But then bring, 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 and then it's like he jumps to and starts going and grabbing Grimes, and just starts he puts him over his shoulder, and then he'll grab Tommy and he'll put him over his shoulder, and just starts pulling him and pulling them forward and moving them. And he starts going. I think at this point he's gonna go through a bit of the crowd, like the corner part, and everyone's like, yeah, yeah. And he's going, and as he's like slowly moving, like he's starting to move like to the exit, like one of the corners, and they're moving like towards the back area where there's a like things set up for them to do. But he's going slowly. Yeah.
A little bit of teamwork we were seeing here from Zach Grimes and the Ranger. Maybe a bit of mutual respect after their epic bout 1 month ago, but it seems that they're not quite on the same page. Miscalculation there, and the pikeman, Frugal Dougal, is able to capitalize. What is this? What is going on with the balladeer? It's like he's got some kind of strange psychic control of him, like that harp is hypnotized him. What's this? Where the hell are they going? He's taking them. Oh my god. Where are they going?
And then as it goes, like everyone, you just start hearing forsooth, 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 and it goes, and like the camera like all of a sudden does like this. It's all cinematic angle now, and as he starts kind of slowly going forward, like in the backstage area, there are multiple of these like pikemen with hoods, and they're all like at the same time in unison, like doing the sparks all together at the same time, as it's like a parade, kind of as they all stand there as he begins to move and get closer. And what it looks like, it's like this weird, like dark, like altar that has been set up in the back. And of course, the minstrel is like playing fast and forward as like the pikeman drops these two people, these two wrestlers right on the ground as he looks and just kind of stares at the minstrel. The minstrel like nods, and he goes and asks for a pike. And he goes to he's about to like go ahead and just like, you don't know who he's gonna skewer, but it looks like he's about to skewer someone. I'm gonna turn it over to creative as someone comes in. Maybe all of a sudden you see, or no. I think what you would see is like this like mannequin head just be thrown at the pike's face as and like the mannequin head just cracks like and like explodes with like duct tape and everything all over his head as the camera turns to Al Snow right there.
And so you wanted me to pick it up with
Al
Al
Snow.
Snow entering
Yeah.
into the scene? Okay. So you're like outside at this point, like outside.
Backstage. We're backstage. We're not
Backstage.
outside yet.
Okay.
Or backstage.
And I'm sorry, how did you have them positioned?
They're both kind of like in this like position, like both laid out, kind of like sacrificial offerings in front of me.
Okay.
And I was about to skewer one of them, like to draw blood, and that's when like out of nowhere
Sure.
this
Okay, I
this,
got
like-
it now.
yeah
So Al Snow, yeah, he throws the head, draws the distraction, and he just like runs in, and he's just going to he's gonna grab like the pike and like stop it from happening, and there's gonna be a little bit of like tug of war happening, trying to wrest the pike away from Frugal Dougal, and then he finally just like headbutts the pike and breaks it in twain, and like it forces his head through it to knock you square in the center of your eyeballs, kind of dazed a little bit, knocking you back, as he like just kind of like he grabs like something in the locker room area, like there's like a folding chair nearby, and he grabs that, closes that up, and he just goes and like headshot. And like you've kind of transformed, repackaged yourself into this like monster heel, almost like taking on kind of the aspects of your foil in Sir Arthur. And so he's hitting you, but you're like not falling down. You're just stumbling back, and he's just trying to push you back, put some distance between you and them, giving maybe them a chance to recover. And we're good. Thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you so much for the cheer. Appreciate that. And so he's gonna like keep hitting you with that chair until you stumble through like the exit doors.
my contact. Holy shit, where'd it go? It's like- his contact fell out, so it's only half milky at this point as he kind of goes and tries to go off on his own.
And he's gonna push you out like the exit doors to the outside, like the ultimate separation. So like the match will like kind of forget about Zach Grimes and Ranger for just a bit, while the match like goes outside. The cameramen are like following out. Commentary is like trying to like what? It's so dark out there. What the hell's going on? Can we get some lighting out there? And it's gonna like totally turn into like, you know, the Final Deletion style a little bit as they start heading out there.
Ah, I knew you'd come.
And I think maybe yeah, it's just like the back parking lot area. So you start to like, it's just like nothing fancy. There's not like a bunch of super like fancy wrestling moves, but at some point Al Snow has hit you enough that you're so dazed that it sets it up that he can just do like a straight up suplex, and he goes to suplex you onto the hood of a car. And like the siren goes off, your feet fall into the windshield, cracks that, and it kind of spider webs out. And everyone, you know, the commentary says, "Oh my God, he lifted at his age that huge hulking man and dropped him right onto the hood of that car. But the effort of doing so has kind of laid Al Snow out as well. And then I'm going to pass it back over to you.
I'm gonna say at this point, both at this moment, like you would see, just like super commotion happening from inside. The camera pans back to the doors, and you would just see like a pikeman just been thrown out and flying out into the ground, and another pikeman goes flying into the other direction as both Grimes and the ranger Tom Kendall both come out to go and see what is happening, and they both come across Al Snow down, but also the ranger completely incapacitated. So easy for one of them to make this pinfall as he's just out, even on his back, ready to get pinned. For a moment.
You're goddamn right. I'm going to interrupt this moment. So, it's not the ranger. He's more taken aback from the scene that's before him. But then while that's happening, little old pesky Grimes starts waddling all over to Frugal Dougal, who's flaying on the ground, and just starts to do his nice little just relaxed pin, just like this. Nice little smile on his face. Jim Laybourne somehow is still out here. He found his way out. He probably battled through Pikeman as well. He starts counting 1, 2. Then Ranger's like, huh? Grabs Grimes, throws him to the side, and just starts like, what are you doing? What is the meaning of this? That's supposed to be my win. What are you doing?
Your win? We're all here fighting together. This is a triple threat. There's no way that this is your win. You got to earn it. I was trying to earn it. That's all.
Shoves you.
Oh, hey, now, don't do that again. Do not do that again.
What are you going to do about it, huh?
Interrupt. So
Well,
Grimes.
It seems just a little bit from commentary is just like, well, it seems that friendship was about 5 minutes too long, and it seems to be breaking down here on the outside.
Grimes goes to grab Ranger and put his head through the car window, through the passenger side window. So we'll call that it's breakaway glass. It's a plant spot. We'll call it hardcore. So that's plus real. Oh no, that would be a 3, 2. Okay, that's a botch.
I just showed him
too hard.
I just showed him the Shane McMahon Kurt Angle match last night. So.
Oh no, we'll try a third time if we need to. You played it too safe or went too hard. Your opponent describes how they counter or save the spot and takes control of the match. Choose whether you take an injury or lose all of your momentum. I'm gonna say that Grimes is gonna take an injury as you describe what happens next, Dawson.
I will say, as you grab, going for the good old little head smash right through the window, you may have not judged that someone's car is a little bit too close. Someone decided to park just on that line right there. You may have just hit that just enough and just completely lost your grip on that. And using that moment to try and save it, he just, it's like, this is going to hurt, man. I'm sorry. And he grabs you from like both hair and back and kind of like your peacock feathers. They go flying everywhere. Just absolutely smashes your head into the door. But accidentally, it probably doesn't go like through the glass. But you may have accidentally hit the side of the door itself as well.
I'm already concussed, man.
Donnie,
yeah, I like it.
Donnie's on commentary. He's just like, "What? Son of a bitch! That's my rental car! You asshole! Stop doing that! Get away from there!"
And in that moment, Grimes is probably split on the ground. The Ranger tries to go for the pin. It's a 1, it's a 2, but this is given enough time for Frugal Dougal to come and recover. So how would you break this pin, Frugal Dougal?
Frugal Dougal's out. He's like man, I lost my contact. I don't know what to do, man. Like this, if and you go on you and you're like about to pin him, and that's when, of course, this bard like just inserts himself into the match again, and as you're 1, 2, you just hear him go, please, it's time for you to wake up. We must. I don't know. Uh, I will order you a cup of cider, and like, and then like it's like that patented like Undertaker kind of like, as you're like trying to pin him, like he just sits up with like you on top of him, and you kind of roll off of the car, and he just like stands. And now it's like one eye is like one eye is on film me, one eye is off, and he's looking at the minstrel, and the minstrel says, "Kill them!" And and he turns back, and he goes and looks. I'm sorry, Grimes. Are you up at the moment?
No,
No. Okay.
I just got
So
wrapped around a car.
So I think that's right. Frugal Dougal is gonna like kind of stomp Tommy, kind of over and over again, and then he goes and looks over at Grimes, and that hate just takes over. He goes to grab this unconscious Grimes, and he begins to. And first time he kind of pulled him up over. Now he's like dragging him, and he's going away from this parking lot, and they're moving over to that swampy camping area behind. And all of a sudden, like you see, it's like at the banks, and you'll see like there'll be like dragonflies and stuff, like kind of swarming around as the light they like have all this light set up, and like you could see the mist and everything going, and he goes and just
Interrupt. This is still my spot, you son of a bitch. As he tries to go in to throw him into the pond, the Ranger comes back, just starts big old whack in the back of the head, staggers him back, and then everyone's like all exhausted on the ground. But then the Ranger starts to get himself up and just looks a little bit to the left. And just off screen, someone's lovely camper is parked right next to the lake. So what then's going to happen is it's going to start becoming a fight to the top of the camper. So the Ranger will start climbing up. Right behind him is probably Frugal Dougal, kind of chasing at his ankles. He's kicking him off, but he's still persistent.
Almost like a zombie, right? Kind of.
As they all get to the top, Grimes starts coming in to not be left behind because he's also still here. Can't forget Grimes. And it starts turning just like a good old bare knuckle brawl on top. It's like just pound and pound and bam, 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 bam. But then the Ranger just gets the momentum to get them both in a headlock right at the edge of the camper. They're looking right over the lake, and just takes a deep breath and say, "All right, we all gotta jump. We all gotta jump at this. You ready? 1, 2." And then on 3, he's gonna go for just a major suplex right into that pool.
All right.
You could use the heat.
I'm gonna use heat.
Using heat.
I'll help you. I don't want to get hurt.
We all don't want to get hurt. Come on, big hit. So that is 6, but I have a heat with +4 for both of them. So it makes it a 10.
Nice.
So the spot lands, and this is what we call the human highlight reel. So for the first time in an episode, you roll 10+ on a high fly maneuver, gain 1 audience.
Ooh. Hit 4 audience.
We all land. Big splash. So the lights and the dragonflies just start flying away. And then about 20 seconds later, the ranger starts just clawing out of the water. It's like spin up water. It's but slowly behind is Frugal Dougal dragging Grimes right out of the water with him. Much like out of Friday the 13th, this match is not over yet, and I will pass control over to Grimes.
Okay, so I'm picturing that. You tell me if this is what you were thinking, Dawson. But I'm picturing like you're out there ahead of everybody. You're kind of like hacking up a little bit of water.
Yep.
Frugal Dougal is seemingly the most put together right now and has Grimes by one leg and is dragging Grimes near unconscious out of this water directly behind you. Does that sound roughly what you're okay? Cool. So at this point, Frugal Dougal is going to reach down and pick up Grimes and then throw him at Ranger. So Grimes like hits Ranger. They both go down. At which point, I'm going to have Grimes kind of like roll over in a somewhat groggy state, but he's got one tail feather left, and he's gonna play some mind games and engage in bizarre, outlandish, or mysterious behavior, and just start to like shake his tail feather, if you will, or like kind of like wiggle it around in a weird hypnotic state at Frugal Dougal. And I'm gonna roll plus look on this, so that's a 9. So I get to pick one. Either I gain control of the situation of the match, which has already happened, so I'm not going to do that. Gain 1 heat, don't need to do that. They gain 1 heat with you, not going to worry about that. But someone is going to surprise or ambush Frugal Dougal from behind. So Al Snow's back, and this time Al has that chair again, and he is hitting Frugal Dougal in the back with repeated chair shots, such that Grimes goes for a pinfall on Tom. Obviously not the finish, so I'm gonna say that's just a straight kick out at 2.
I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
And at that point, like Al's going to town, right? And at that point, for a moment, like the minstrel goes, like as you kick out, like, and you guys are both kind of down. You hear ding ding ding, and he's like, "Get up and kick his ass! Al Snow is a hack!" And he like, and like, and Frugal Dougal, like once again, like all bloody and everything, just stands right, and Al Snow like turns around and then and then hits the minstrel with the chair, and for an instant, like Frugal Dougal like staggers to his feet and like looks up and yells, "Grimes, Tommy, help me!" And then the minstrel just and then he stands back and like looks back and goes after starts chasing after Al Snow. And I'm gonna gain 1 momentum and throw it back at Grimes.
So at this point, Grimes is starting to kind of recoup, and is putting some kicks on Ranger, but Ranger's able to get up. They're locked up, and Grimes is going to seek to grab the trunks of Ranger to try and do a suplex. Do you want to have any reaction before I roll on that, Dawson?
I will say no.
Okay. So you're going to do a suplex. I'm picturing that like if successful, legs would like hit the edge of the water and there'd be like a little splash. But it's gonna. I'm picturing almost like this rocky, uneven, hard, like break into the water and not like a sandy beach. So it's not gonna be the most comfortable suplex out there. So that's a 7. I'm gonna roll with heat, so that's a 10 on the wrestling move. So let's see. I'll gain a momentum. We'll retain control. At which point Grimes pulls up Ranger and is pulling him now from the water back towards the arena, and is kind of like hitting him and pushing him, and Ranger's kind of stumbling. They hit through the doors, and there's still no sign of Frugal Dougal or the Minstrel or Al Snow. They're all kind of like running off. So Ranger and Grimes are kind of like fisticuffs back and forth, just some weird slapping to try and get to the next spot. So they get to a concession stand, and Grimes is going to climb up on top of the concession stand. There's a line of fans waiting to get popcorn because they're all watching it on the screen anyway, so they don't need to be in the arena. But they're all like, oh man, they're right there. So Grimes then is going to jump off and try and grab one of the hanging banners and swing, and then do a Hurricane Rana, like land on your shoulders after that swing and flip you in there. So I'm going to call that a wrestling move, but a incredible athletic ability. So I'm going to say that's a body one. Oh boy, prepare to get hurt. That's a 6. I'm going to spend 1 momentum to make that a 7. And we'll say that it hits, but I'm gonna hand control of the match to you, Dawson, and gain that momentum back. So I'm at 3.
So it hits, it hurts. Oh, it's bad. It's like both are staggered on the ground, but we're still at this concession stand and not too far away. So, I mean, a concession stand, you gotta have some condiments. So
It's true.
you start just like kicking him in his back. He's staggering forward. He gets pushed all the way to like the corner concession stand, and from there, he sees 2 expertly placed ketchup and mustard bottles. Grabs them and starts squirting them all in your face. Ketchup mustard is flying everywhere. The audience is loving it. And then from there, as you're blinded, he grabs you by the waist and right into that concession table is going to attempt to German suplex you right through the table. So I will say that is, I don't know, work? A heat?
I feel
For
like it's
hardcore?
heat. This is pretty much just demeaning at this point. Commentary's putting it over like they just got back into the arena. There's no sign of the pikeman, Al Snow, or the Balladeer. This is turned into a grudge match between these 2 longtime friends, and oh my gosh, they're right here in the concession stands. The fans are loving it, and did he just throw him through that table?
I sure did not. I rolled
Oh, no.
I rolled double ones.
Didn't quite get all of it.
So I will say I botched the spot. There may have been a little too much mustard on the floor. Your opponent describes how they counter you or save you from disaster.
Ooh.
You take control.
Okay, yeah, let's say that you slipped on the mustard that's on the floor. But as you're going to like German suplex and you slip, Grimes is able to roll kind of out of it, so that like nobody like hits their head on the table or anything like that, to make it seem like it was more of an escape than you actually slipping. And at this point, Grimes is gonna Grimes is gonna take his face and just rub it all over you to like get the mustard and ketchup off, and we'll like pick you up off the ground, and pull you now over to the merch tent or the merch like table. So there's t-shirts everywhere, and Grimes is gonna go over to the pikeman's merch and grab a shirt and rub his face to clean off using one of his shirts, and then he's just gonna be like hitting you with the shirt that he just wiped his face off with, and then he's gonna wrap that around you for a choke and then try and do a running bulldog with you choked in the t-shirt. I don't know if you want to have a reaction before I roll on that one.
I will say my reaction is just off screen. You see a couple of doors fly open as Al Snow gets thrown back into the stadium, followed closely behind by both the Muse and Frugal Dougal.
I love it. Okay, running bulldog. I'm going to use heat. Gives us a 10. So we nail the spot. I get some momentum, so I'm up to 4 now. And then yeah, right after that happens, I see Al, and I run over to get Al back up on his feet, and I'm staring down Pikeman, and I am I'm done with this, and I run to do a spear on Pikeman in an attempt to knock him down and hopefully in some way, shape, or form also hit the balladeer with this. Any reaction, Isaac, before I roll on that one?
All you would see is that he was able to find his contact, and he has a new set of contacts in his
While they're off camera, is able to get a replacement. I love it. All right. Let's see. So 7 plus 3, that's a 10. So we nail it. Get you with a spear. You're down on the ground. So, and the balladeer also knocked over. Grimes gets up and is like hot now. He's pumped up, ready to make this a thing, and goes over and grabs Pikeman. Starts to get a little too greedy and lays him on top of. Oh man.
As you do, like he had taken off his contacts, and he goes, "Gramercy, Grimes, Gramercy. That means thank you for helping me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I'm sorry." And then bring, 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 and then and then there's like he goes and stands back up, and I'll give it right back to you. I'll take a momentum and give it right back to you as he's like.
So yeah, Grimes is obviously confused, but we'll say that whatever Pikeman was going for, let's say he was gonna like grab him, Grimes like slips to the side and gives him like a couple of kidney punches and lays him on the table. And the attempt here is going to be a build up to try and get both Ranger and Pikeman on the same table. So I'm going to first roll for Ranger. I think you would come and try and hit Grimes. Grimes is going to like get out of the way and attempt to give you some elbow shots before trying to get you on the table. How would that happen? I would say that. Go ahead.
If you want.
Yeah.
I could have been like coming hot off screen, trying to go in for the big iron, but you just narrowly duck, and maybe one of those elbows landed just in the right spot, just a little too low.
Sure. Yeah. Let's say that. Okay, I like that. So then that gets you on top of Pikeman on the table, and Grimes climbs up the cage that like they hang the t-shirts on, and is going to do a Macho Man style elbow drop on top of both of you on the table. And I think you said there's a high flyer move.
Oh, that's a
that-
luchador thing. That's
Oh, that's a luchador thing. Okay, never mind. Let's say that this is maybe in athletic feat. So I'm gonna roll plus body on that. Ooh, that's a 9. It's a cool move, but you show the strain. Gain plus one momentum. So now I'm at 5. And pick either you do it, but it hurts. You have to forfeit your next scheduled match while you recover. Or someone steps in to cover for you and you pull it off with their help. If it's another player wrestler, they gain plus 1 momentum. Say that Al Snow is able to come in for some help because Pikeman, you were about to like get up to like you were showing your feats of strength by bench pressing Ranger up while Grimes is climbing, and Al comes in with a chair shot right on the side on your shoulder, which causes Ranger to fall back down on you just in time for that elbow drop to hit. Table cracks, everybody bounces up off that table, and Grimes is on top of Ranger, on top of Pikeman, as the ref comes in and is like, who, 1, 2, and then the balladeer bring, and Pikeman, you sit up, and I hand control over to you as you like throw both of us off of you.
And you guys you'll sell it. Like I'm like, oh, and you both like boing, like just like spring,
Like
back,
the Rock taking a stunner.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You
almost
guys, and
the
you guys
exact same thing.
oversell it. Like, and I'm like, son of a bitch. I go in at this point, like he's going like full like monster. Like he's like, "Roar!" He goes and grabs, the Ranger, and like there's this escalator like that's going up further up into the next floor, and he goes and just like shoves his face like onto the elevator or the escalator, and is just like raking his face like along the bottom, and you'll see like blood like squirting around, and then he goes and looks over to Grimes, but Grimes somehow has disappeared. He doesn't know where he's gone. So he's taking out all this frustration on Tommy, and he's going and he turns him around, and he does like this. I'm gonna say that he's gonna do like this suplex, like as it's moving up. He's gonna do a suplex like on this escalator, like, and this jagged like back is gonna go. So he's going for this like German suplex, like, and it's one of those escalators where like on the either side it's like there's nothing there,
an
so it's like
X,
free
yeah.
form, yeah. So it's going up, and he's gonna do this like German suplex as it's still moving up. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll, and I'll roll since I'll do heat because I'm sure you're gonna wanna.
You probably hear him whisper, "Just make it hurt."
No, I don't want you to hurt. I got you, man. Don't worry. Oops. A 4. I botch it. On a botch, that was a regular move. So on that, your opponent describes how they counter you and save it from disaster, and you get to take control of the match.
I will say, as you go to begin that German suplex, you can see like you're probably starting to lose your footing just a little bit as it starts going up the escalator just a little bit. I will say, like, as that's happening, it's like this is not going to work. He's gonna turn around, like grab you by the upper body and the head, and just throw you away. But inadvertently, he's gonna hit the balladeer as you go flying into him. As that happens, and from there, he will see like the balladeer is like a little staggered, and just like seeing he kind of overheard the conversation he had with Grimes, and he's gonna give the balladeer, the good old Macho Man,
Haha.
Macho Man, Hulk Hogan. That's it. That's a different wrestler. And then he's gonna start just chasing him around the concession stand until eventually he'll chase him back into the main ring, where like he has nowhere left to go. And then he will attempt to like grab his instrument and just big old swing over his head, just knock him out of the match. So I will say this is a work.
Mm.
So that's 2 1s again. So
Ooh.
it's 5, but I got a lot of momentum. So, let's at least just save it and say it works, and I will just hand control to someone else and just say, I'm good. So I'll spend 2 momentum, get 1 back. I'll be at 4. So the move works. It hits. He's on the ground. Balladeer is knocked out cold. And then he starts rolling off the edge of the ring. And then as like he's tired, he's exhausted from just exhaling. He's just standing in the ring by himself. There's no one around.
Interrupt.
There we go.
Yeah, at that point, so I'm gonna spend a momentum to interrupt.
You don't have to. I was going to give it back control to someone else.
All right. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So from the crowd, you don't see it, but from the crowd, Grimes like pops up. Like if you're up on like the are you in the ring or are you like on the apron? Are you on the side of the ring?
In the ring, kind of like looking up the ramp to see who's coming in.
Okay, so you're in the ring. Grimes hops up onto the barricade and hops down. You don't see it. The crowd starts making noise, and you're like looking, but Grimes is like directly behind you outside of the ring. So Grimes hops up on the apron in one jump, hops up on the top rope to springboard like AJ Styles with a forearm, just as you're turning around to face him. So I'll call that's probably a acrobatic skill. So I'm gonna do body just to play it fair. So that's a 7 minus 2 is a 5. But if I got to save that one, I'm gonna burn all 5 of my momentum to make that a 10. Crowd pops as you nail the spot. I retain control, and gain +1. So Grimes again, like just like after hitting it, is like similar to Randy Orton after hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins in WrestleMania when he like countered the curb stomp. He's like he just pops up and is like fired up, and goes to just start kicking you. And I'm gonna say that maybe there's an opportunity for a reaction from either Isaac or Dawson before I roll for let's say Grimes then climbs up to the top turnbuckle and is going to do a moonsault from the top. And before I roll on that, is there a reaction from either of you?
I think that I'll interrupt. Might as well. We'll go ahead and do that.
Oh, you're just going to interrupt. All right.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. At that point, you would hear like "Forsooth!" and like he's like his eyes are back to normal, and he like comes running like into the ring, like just from like outside. He's all like torn up, but like he looks like at the audience, and they see like that his eyes are back to normal as he's going and running back. And he for a moment he sits there and he looks at you about to do this moonsault, and he looks down at Tommy, and he goes,
Zach, I'm sorry for what I've done. Truly I am. But I say, may the best man win.
He's going to go and attempt to give you a handshake to bury the hatchet as you're about to jump down. What is your reaction?
So he'd look at you.
Thanks for the raid.
He'd jump down. He'd look you in the eyes. And he'd go for a handshake.
Interrupt.
Ooh.
You all can't steal my gimmick like that, you crazy SOBs. He comes over, comes sprinting off the back side of the ropes, comes in, high flying knee right to Frugal Dougal, switches over, goes for the Enziguri on good old Grimes. Gonna go for a finishing move. It's not gonna end it, but he's gonna just fuck you up.
All right.
And we'll say this was a work.
While you're rolling that, thank you so much, the Lollygaggers, for the raid. Appreciate that. Hope you guys had a good game. We're playing some Worldwide Wrestling here tonight. It's our big final session of this game system, and we're finishing it off with a triple threat for the WTF Championship. The Ranger Tom Kendall just did a big move. What was the result on that?
13.
Ooh.
So as you connect, the referee is going to swing by Tom Kendall and tell you to... He's just gotten word from Creative for you to finish the match.
Oh.
Ooh, I can't really play politics here, can I?
That was
If you want to, I mean, if we want to do like momentum style, where we like go back in time to like some meeting that happened earlier in the day, we could.
I will. Let's say sure. Flashback.
What happened?
Listen, I can't be the champion for this. I don't. You've seen my promos. They're. Hey, Nikki, how's it going? Listen,
What's
I
up?
can't be the champion. I just don't think it's time for me just yet.
You're playing politics against yourself?
You know, I think there's someone who's more deserving of this title than I am. I would like to toss my 5-gallon hat in the ring for the pikeman to be the one carry the belt. He's clearly the more. I mean, let's be honest. Everyone loves him.
All right. Roll plus audience.
That would be 10.
Suddenly the Golden Girls theme plays. Thank you for being a friend.
I am going to play this as if this is an issue between you and Frugal Dougal. He's probably the one that you're playing politics against. So, Dawson, you'll pick one from that list, and then Isaac will pick one from that list.
I will say they agree that I'm right.
Let me check that list.
You're right. The argument stays private. Creative sets up a match or segment that the person who selected this option wants to see, or change your want to something they want to see.
I'll change my want to wanting the title.
Sounds good. So instead, what gets whispered into like pretty much everyone's ear is the finish of the match is that the pikeman Frugal Dougal has been named by creative to win this match, and you're supposed to start to work towards that finish.
All right.
I will say, since after I hit it, my finishing move, I try to go for the pin. It's a 1, it's a 2, but it's a massive throw up by the Frugal Dougal. Throws me off. It's just like he's absolutely stunned that he can't believe he didn't just win it. And then what he tries to do is try to go for one last big jump off the top rope and goes for like kind of similar to Pac's move of the Black Arrow. It's a big old spin, try to land on top of him, but Frugal Dougal catches him. And I'll pass it to you.
I'll catch him, and I'll look and I'll go, "Damn it, Tommy! Damn it!"
The kids love you.
He's gonna kind of shake his head and kind of he's gonna like reinvigorate himself, and he's gonna drop it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do the London Broil.
You're going for the finish.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess at this point that's what it'd be.
All right, let's see it.
That's a 6.
You got some momentum to spend?
Burn
I
the
have
momentum,
to.
my friend.
I have 2 momentum. I think. Let me see.
You like the outcome of the botch?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's see. So that's a 6. I think I'll use a momentum to make it a 7. I'll do it. I'll drop it. London Broil, and we'll give the Ranger an extra audience.
Sounds good. So you hit the London Broil, and as the 1, 2, 3 gets counted, the crowd is booing this outcome. This is not what the crowd was hyped up to see, and they're just throwing trash in the ring. There's been like these little bits of like maybe like a face turn from the pikeman, but a lot of that's going to be lost on the live audience. And commentary is like trying to put this over. They're clearly like they weren't thinking like this was the finish either, and so they're just like unbelievable. Man, he played every dirty card in the book, and can you believe it? I say what you will about his tactics. Clearly, you cannot deny his intelligence and his strategy in this match, and in the end, it was Frugal Dougal and his legion of pikemen who are going to be carrying home the WTF Championship. My God, this is unfathomable what has happened here tonight, but the crowd is stunned. You can hear it. You can hear it. Some are even furious as they're, oh my, I hope that Nikki has spared no expense on security here tonight, because man, this crowd is red hot. This is a game changer. Good night, everyone. Thank you for watching the first ever WTF Homecoming. We hope you enjoyed. Please tune in. And like he's doing like all the like kind of end of credits speak that the commentators have to get through. Is there anything else that we see before the cameras cut?
I think in like the aftermath, you would see Al Snow like helping Grimes kind of to his feet, um, and helping to like usher him out of the ring. Um, and I think Grimes would be at a place where like he's trying the different gimmick and just like letting this go. Whereas if this would have happened, 3 weeks ago, he would have been. It's interesting that his gimmick is now like putting the spotlight on himself, but he's doing it in the right way now, as opposed to like just making every match about him because he, as the performer, would want it. So he's taking a step away, and I think Al would be somewhat proud of him for doing this, instead of just taking the chair and being like, oh yeah, he's gonna insert himself into a new feud that nobody wanted him to do.
I think Frugal Dougal kind of seeing this is gonna at first be like shocked, and then look, and then he's gonna just be like, and he's gonna grab his hat and throw it down and rip his shirt off and just start flipping off like all the like crowd, giving him like cheers, go, and like just being like just like almost cursing on like camera, like you like that, and just like being like super rude, and like he broke kayfabe, like he's just like, like he's going like all crazy trying to like build this up.
Yeah. Do you think that he's going to be able to retain and continue the Pikeman gimmick after tonight?
I don't think so.
So what lies in store? I think he's set up probably to have a monster heel run with the title. That, I don't know. What does that look like in the coming months? What will we see from Frugal Dougal?
Frugal Dougal, he's gonna kind of, I would say maybe you would almost like switch to being more like real, kind of like screw this, like, and just like be all against the company and stuff, and just take out all the like small baby faces that are out there, and eventually I think it would, and as he does this, I'm gonna say that as the Frugal Dougal becomes more and more like sinister and like just not even goofy, but just like evil guy, I would say at the same time, like the Ranger is becoming more and more of a baby face to the point where I think they would kind of clash. And I think eventually he would see his title reign lost eventually to the Ranger.
You form up a faction with the Graduates and have like the anti-company thing. They just won their belts too. It was all heels that won at the WTF Homecoming. So what lies in store for the Ranger Tom Kendall after the events of this pay-per-view?
Well, if you ask me, it's really difficult to be a solo guy after being a tag team guy for so long. Is that he learned that for the life of him, he can't cut a promo that good. So I think he would try to form his own faction and kind of name it the Outlaws, trying to gather up some of the notable faces in the company to try to almost have like a combative thing with the Graduates and Frugal Dougal that would happen. And that'd probably be like a big feud thing that the company would try to push until the eventuality of the 1v1 that would happen. But he learns he's not great at being a solo guy. He needs a buddy to work with.
And we heard a bit about Zach Grimes' future. Anything else that you would add, Joe, to what we will see from him?
I think that you'd start to see his in-ring skills develop as he starts to like spend more time on the craft and not necessarily like a luchador high flyer, but a someone who now kind of gets that thrill that he used to get from, just the pain or causing other people pain, in terms of like a really well executed um higher flying spot. So those things would start to develop. Al Snow would be gone. He just, like, after a while, no need for Al to be there anymore. Um, but would start to like be okay as a performer then, to not have to use the crutch of the tax in every single match. Um, and never gains the acceptance of family, is cut off, but is able to find his own self-worth in the character, um, and kind of find that right blend of like character self, um, and not necessarily trying too hard. But I don't think that Grimes would ever really reach the top again. I think he would sit in the mid card as a reliable, comfortable kind of performer, um, who took the very real warning of, we're writing you out for a few weeks, to heart, because it was the first time that anyone ever like cut the shit with him or told him to cut the shit.
Dad is really excited and happy for this news. You get to say that you were the WTF champion, even though you never had really a title reign. You technically were the champion for a period of about a month.
Yeah.
As far as the promotion, I think Nikki Notion decides the tour around the country and running the con circuit and everything was useful for the time that it happened, but decides ultimately to maintain a permanent basis out of Madison, and that's kind of where their niche kind of falls. They will remain a local promotion that does have some eyeballs on it across the country on Twitch and YouTube and such, and they'll continue to stream their things, but use the Alliant Energy Center as its base of operations, cease their touring, and just stay at the same kind of level as they go forward. It's successful enough. It's selling some merch, but it'll maybe never rival the big name promotions and things like that. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed playing. It was fun to try out something very, very, very different than what we normally play on the channel, but curious to hear what you guys think. Would you ever play a game, maybe not this game exactly, but a game like this with certain elements of the 2d6 kind of helping the narrative flow?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd play it again. Maybe even this game again. I think you had mentioned off stream one time that sometimes it's I would see how, doing this and exploring it, uh, just playing like a character the entire time. Maybe I'm not going to say stale, but you kind of experience things, and how do you reinvent the wheel kind of things. But then you had mentioned that um, this you could kind of do like a round robin style creative, where every time someone else is creative and the other one gets to play a character. I think that would kind of reinvigorate it. I think I would definitely like to see that played out. That's something that I think that would go on for a long time.
Yeah, I think like two more players, Steven, too, to be in the pot. Because you could definitely have like, I feel like it's a tough thing because you don't want too many people, because so much of the action is dependent on primarily probably two players at any one time. So like having like too big of a pot just for half the game, maybe like half the crew is like sitting on the sideline. At least like in an online game, I feel like it'd be like a great like in person like beer and pretzels system to play, where like, sometimes when you come together to play D&D, like not everybody is there wanting to focus on that narrative like the entire time you're together. Some people want to split off and have little side conversations. This game like is kind of set up where you could do that and it wouldn't interrupt like the business of the game. Like it'd be totally fine for 3 people to go over here and be talking about what they watched on Netflix last week, while these 3 people over here are dealing with their match, resolving all that. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like I feel like it's a very like specific situation where I think this game can apply. Whereas something like Fiasco, like it's been a while since I've played, but I felt like that was like super pick up and play, a lot less having to dig around for like the reason I'm rolling the dice or like justifying where I'm rolling the dice versus like where I'm not. I felt like that was much more straightforward in terms of like where things are going. Not for better or worse, but just in terms of like wanting to pick that up with any group of people at a time. I think it's better for that. But yeah, I think this absolutely is a beer and pretzels in person, best experienced that way. Just like what you described, Alex. That's my opinion as well.
I do kind of wish on the results tables on some of the moves that they were more generalized. Like sometimes it feels like they were like the results on the table were too specific to allow you the creative freedom to like. It just sometimes felt awkward. Whereas like I think Fiasco is
Yeah.
great because their tables are very well written to be maybe more maybe like more shades of gray in terms of what you're trying to accomplish, the role, and then what's supposed to play out.
You can apply it to whatever scenario is happening at any given time. Yeah. Where yeah, it feels like some of these like it's just so specific in that if you miss that opportunity, just like with the playing politics that we saw at the end, like and we made it work, like because we're just telling a story. But it just feels like if you miss it, like shit, that would have been perfect there. Or like I feel like I need to do something here that isn't just a gimme, but I don't know what because none of these things seem to really fit. Because yeah, that's a really good point that they're just either a specific scenario or the results just don't really fit for what you're hoping to see as the like binary or triangle type of result.
Dawson, any thoughts?
Be like kind of building off of like it's definitely like you're sitting around having a beer, maybe eating some pretzels with some friends. Kind of like yeah, building off of what Joe was just saying that it is very super specific for what you're trying to do for stuff. Like sometimes it's like improv is like the fun part of it, but then you always gotta think at the back of your head that all right, I have to do all of this to build to some sort of role I want to make instead of kind of I guess that's where the stuff some of the features they had like your own custom move you could make as I saw that was in there that I don't think anyone did because we didn't know the system too well
Right.
is where stuff like that could come in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say definitely if we were to try to do this again it would definitely feel better with more people just so we have like a kind of like a new like fresh set of eyes on things because by the time we got to here everyone's like kind of like maxing out their stuff with each other and it's like how much can we keep going with the same person over and over again doing like certain things kind of like having the other elements like the run-in that looks like such a cool thing to do kind of hard to do when there's only like 3 people here like if there was like more people involved it definitely would help facilitate it better but overall I enjoyed the experience it was fun to do and it's definitely not what I was initially expecting.
Yeah, I think I'd say a solid B. A lot of people will say that this is like the best, maybe wrestling TTRPG. There's a few of them out there, but it seems like this is the one that people say like if you're wanting to simulate the production of a wrestling show, this is probably the best because there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff in the rules for building maybe the experience that you want to have. It's just going to take a lot of effort probably to pick and choose the things that you want to focus on. So yeah, I think a very worthwhile experiment. Maybe we'll return to it at some point in the future. Definitely curious to check out more Powered by the Apocalypse style games, just to kind of, now that this is the first one I've ever played, so I'd like to see like a kind of a comparison to other such systems and what really does that mean, Powered by the Apocalypse. I think it's all like the 2d6 basically, but adaptations of it. So not a lot going on the stream this week. Got a couple of things tomorrow night. We got Dave back for some first edition happening at 7 p.m. So you can check that out. And then Thursday night, we've got the Dark Tower crew is coming back and starting up some of the bonus content from the Kickstarter stretch goals. So they're going to be doing some of Chosen Sons of Set modules. That'll be Thursday at 7:30. Check that out. Yeah, I think we will just throw a raid over to Paladin's Archives and call it a night. So thanks everyone. We will catch you all soon.
Thanks.